Can you hear me now? I bet you can hear me now. What's up, mi gente? So good to see so many of you here early with me. Gracias. Muchas gracias. How my people feeling today? Can you guys hear me now? I'm sure you can. So on that note, welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. I'm YouTube's bad girl, Jen. How are you this evening? Glad to see you here. Tonight we have a really good topic. I told you guys On the Block with Jen at Gmail is where you hit me with your topics, okay? Topics. I love a lot of them. I can't do all of them. Tonight's topic is brought to you by Lily from YB Limited. It's something that I thought of in the past, and she brought it to my attention yet again. And I was like, yeah, there's something here. We should talk about it because I'm starting to see patterns on social media, as all of you are, I'm sure. And we got to talk about it because I think it's really, really dangerous. And you'll hear why. So let's take care of the business. On the Block with Jen on Instagram, On the Block with Jen on TikTok, On the Block with Jen on Facebook, On the Block with Jen at Gmail for topics, suggestions, collaborations, interviews, and what have you. I'm on the Block with Jen all across the board. On the Block with Jen Cash App, see it scrolling on the bottom if you want to support the show, or you could super chat me in the chat. Thank you for being here early, guys. To my moderators, hold me down in the chat with the wrenches. You already know, don't let anybody get too froggy. They can get spicy, but they can't get froggy, okay? You guys can yell, scream, holler, jump up and down, write in all caps, but keep your disrespect down to a minimum. I will not go out and get you from Block Valley. Once you get blocked by my moderators, you're there for life. Then you have to come and watch me live, and you can't participate. And we want you to participate. We want you to be here, right? We like the verbal fisticuffs. We like the pushback. But don't get too froggy. Get spicy for me, okay? Don't get froggy. So welcome, guys. Tonight's topic, okay, is a double whammy. It's a double whammy. I'm going to put it up in a minute. I would love for you guys to come up. Remember, the rule is you got to come up. We'd love to see your beautiful face. Going into January 2023, I'm going to be super strict. If you're gonna cam up, you have to cam up, okay? You don't have to be camera ready. You don't have to be glamorous. You could be under a hoodie. You could be under a cap. You could be under a scarf. You could be under a bonnet, if that's how you want to show up. But we have to see your face, okay? We have to see your face. That's how we're doing it going into 2023, okay? So no more mystery people. Tonight's topic is, are we losing our elders to social media FOMO? Now, I know the word elder can mean your elder sibling, but tonight we're using it like this. Our elders, those lovely older people who guide us, our grandmas, our grandpas, okay? Our great-grandmas, our great-grandpas who still have them, our aunts, our uncles, right? Our eldest siblings, our siblings who are in their 40s, 50s, what have you. Here's the picture. Are we losing our elders to social media FOMO now that everybody is addicted to social media, including the elder folks, okay? I never thought I'd see a day where it's like something I thought was meant for kids. Now it's just such a broad spectrum, right? There is no age limit on social media. You see old people on TikTok, young people on TikTok, babies on TikTok. You see that all across the board, right? On all social media. So who is left to look after these children, to guide these children, right? If our kids see us doing what they do, right? The lines are going to get blurred a little bit, right? I think. But you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. But I also want to go over, are we losing our elders to social media FOMO, fear of missing out? And what kind of elders will we be? I'm not letting us off the hook. What kind of elders will we be if our heads are like this when our kids need advice, right? What kind of elders are we going to be for our nieces and nephews and daughters and sons and grandsons? What kind? Can you see us in 20 years when our kids need advice and we're like, wait a minute, I want to see how many likes I have because I'm monetized? Is that where we're headed? What are we doing? What are we doing here, people? What are we doing? We got to talk about it. There's a lot of shit going on. I'm going to bring some celebrities into the conversation because You love celebrities, right? We like hearing about celebrity gossip, right? For some reasons, a lot of celebrity worship. So why reinvent the wheel? Diddy, most recently, right? And I know rich men age slower, right? They can do whatever the hell they want because they're so wealthy, they can get a 20-something-year-old woman, right? But just for shits and giggles, let's look at Diddy, for instance. Diddy is 53 years old. Now, you would think, rich or not, a man who is 53 years old is an elder to teenagers, right? Is an elder, of course, to his children, right? And Diddy most recently has been attached to 4 or 5 different women. One recently had his child. Another one is in her 20s, who was arguing with 2 other women in their 20s over Diddy on social media. Now, is that any way for a man to carry himself at 53 at Diddy's level with all the children he has? Should he have a harem of women the age of his own children fighting over him on social media, one of which just had his child? Is that cool? Should Diddy still be acting like he's, got a wet dick in his 20s running around Harlem, New York City like he used to? Is that okay? Is that cool? What will his children think? Okay. His 16-year-old twin daughters the other night celebrated their birthday. He surprised them with some Range Rovers. But I found it quite curious what the girls were wearing, right? Now, listen, I know it's a new age and we all had that phase in our teenage years where we was wearing certain shit. My phase, my teenage years, I was wearing my dad's clothes. I liked the big pants with the Timberlands and the hats and the big door knockers. I wore my dad's lumberjack shirts. That's what I was doing back then. We shopped at the Gap in Old Navy and everything was big. Hip hop was big, right? So it seems like what the kids are doing now is everybody wants to be scantily clad in the panties, right? With the small tops, just like all the female rappers and all the pop stars, whether it's Jennifer Lopez, Ashanti, Beyonce, everybody is on stage in their fucking panties. Everybody. It's like the world ran out of skirts and pants. All them bitches are on stage singing and dancing a jig in their panties. You've seen them. Even Mariah Carey, even women with quote unquote talent who don't have to use their ass are on stage with the pressurized stockings and the drawers, right? We've seen it. Lady Gaga, all of them, all the pop stars are on the damn stage in their fucking panties. The rappers, don't even get me started. They're on stage in their thongs and their panties. Everybody's in their panties. Everybody's in their panties, right? So when Diddy's daughters celebrated their 16th birthday the other day, they were also in their panties. They were in their panties. Okay. That was the birthday outfit. It was, and people were saying, why his daughters dressed like that? The Game recently, 12-year-old, she was at Diddy's daughter's birthday. She was also in some little outfit, with her little boobs out or whatever, right? So is this what's going on? And is this just the phase that this generation is in? Like when we were wearing the Timberlands and the big t-shirts and is this just the phase that they're in? Is everyone dressed like a stripper? Is this the phase of the stripper, perhaps, right? Now, it created some controversy online. Some people were like, no, they're models. Diddy's daughters are models. That's why they're dressed like, I guess models don't wear pants now. I don't know. I don't know. They're models. That's why. Oh, no, the theme was futuristic. The theme was futuristic. So that's the mother's fault. Their mother's dead, idiot. Atheists always got some stupid shit to say. Their mother's dead. It's futuristic. The theme was futuristic. That's why I'm like, okay, so they don't wear pants in the future neither? Like, I'm hearing a lot of excuses for these 16-year-olds to be running around in their panties. But, you know what I mean? I want to respect phases, right? Our parents were telling us, why the hell are you wearing your pants that big, right? Why are you wearing your shirt that big, right? Our parents had problems with some of the shit we wore. So is this just the next phase? Diddy at 53 years old, should he have more control? Should his daughters be out there out in public giggling in their panties? on their 16th birthday. And you know 16th birthday, sweet 16s. We're thinking quinceañera, dresses, gowns. You know what I mean? These girls are walking in with the little corset and, you know what I mean? No, now they're in their panties. So is this just the new thing? Are the elders failing the kids, or are the elders letting them do them? Are they letting them do them? So I want to talk about that a little bit. Little Bow Wow is now beefing with Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri is Little Bow Wow's elder, took him under his wing, right? Helped him get to where he got, wherever that is now. But Little Bow Wow was the shit, right, in the 90s. Then we have another beef online, Master P and Little Romeo, his son. Now, I would think as the elder, specifically the parent, that you would be like, you can act the monkey ass fool online, but I will not engage you online. Either you call my phone or I'm going to call your phone. But what we're seeing is that the elders, including the parents, are now getting in verbal fisticuffs online with their children. With their children. Now, I would think back in the day, you know, our parents wasn't having that shit. We couldn't even suck our teeth around our parents, okay? Let alone get in a public verbal fisticuffs with our parents. That's like being at the Walmart with your parent and talking back to your parent and saying, I ain't gonna do what you say do. You will be transformed into the mop, the Walmart mop, because that's what your mother or father would have done to you at the Walmart, right? But now these arguments are happening in public. Do you think that Master P, right, should have did the elder thing and text Little Romeo or call Little Romeo and said, I'm not doing that with you in public. I am your elder. I am your father. I'm not doing that. But Master P, of course, responded with an Instagram video promoting his cereal, right? You know, he got cereal and wrap snacks and all of that. The beef between Little Romeo and Master P was basically that Little Romeo has never got any money for the wrap snacks, although they used his image. Master P's potato chip company, Wrap Snacks, they used Little Romeo's image for 15 some odd years, and Little Romeo's claiming, I never got paid, and you don't know how to handle your money. This is how he's talking to his father, mentioning his sister's suicide. So I would think that quite naturally, and let me give you an experience because I like putting myself in this shit. I got into a little something with one of my nieces many years ago, okay? And I pumped her little brakes. We were on social media, and I know a lot of people forget that social media is public. It is public. Everyone can see you. We can all see you. We can all hear you. But people get so comfy on social media. They're posting pictures of grandma in the coffin. They're posting their marriages, their divorces, their children, their childbirth. You know, people be in the hospital like this. I'm dying. Pray for me. I got the COVID. You know, that's social media. It's like, oh, look, I broke my nail. Pray for me. Like, you know, that we are addicted to these machines, and everybody has to know what we're doing every fucking waking moment, right? TikTok. I was scrolling TikTok yesterday. There's a skin disease that creates boils that stink on your ass. A woman was like, look, these are my boils, right? I want everyone to know so you're not ashamed. And it's not so much that she posted it. It's that so many other people responded with the boils on their ass and the boils under their arm. So that's society now. Everybody has to know what's going on in your life and apparently between your ass cheeks. Is that where we are now? Do we just have to let these kids do them without elder intervention? So back to my niece. I made a comment one time during a 420. As you guys know, the 420, April 20th is big weed day. It's like a national holiday for cannabis, for weed, for marijuana, for whatever, what. And I was like, I said the kids that don't smoke are cool too, right? It was my opinion about 420. So the kids that don't smoke are cool too. So because my niece smokes a lot of weed, she felt it, her business, to jump on my post and talk real spicy to me, right? And I don't play that, right? So I blocked her and I contacted her and I was like, don't you ever ever step to me like that on social media again. Okay. I don't use social media like everybody else. I don't put all my fucking business on social media. All right. Not my personal business. Don't you ever do that again. Now, here's the thing. What I'm seeing now is a pattern of elders that are not pumping the brakes of the younger generation and getting into it online where everybody could see it. I think that shit is disrespectful. What do you guys think? Now, anybody else would be like, you don't be coming on my post. And then she would have responded, and I would have responded, and she would have responded, and I would have responded, right? But if I am above her in age and maturity and wisdom, you're going to fix your fucking face before you talk to me. Right? So we're seeing these elder folks, these parents get into it with their kids online. We're seeing the older people online twerking and, doing things that used to be reserved for younger folk. Is it a freedom though? Is it, our right? Is it a grandma's right or grandpa's right to be twerking and doing the little TikTok dances? Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing that they're not, held up to this standard where they have to be these geriatric, rocking in the chair like back in my day? Let me tell you, it's going to save you, children. Like, is it good that they're out and they have a purpose and TikTok is giving them a new life? Or is it a bad thing because now there's no code, right? I'll drop the link after this. Back in the day, when we were fucking up and doing what we wanted to do, did we not have moms, dads, aunts, grandmas chip in the back of our brains? Even if while they were telling us at the time, we were like, oh my God, I wish she shut up so I could get back to what I was doing. But when we were out in the streets, we had those, those little lessons in the back of our head. And then as we got older, we adopted those lessons and we passed them down, though we were not listening at the time, right? But it seems like today that doesn't exist anymore because these elders want to be stars of YouTube, stars of TikTok, stars of Instagram. So who is the elder? Who's the guiding light? Where back in the day, there was a line drawn and you knew, right, to fix your face before you talk to someone sideways that was an elder. But now it's like a free-for-all. So is the future doomed? Are these kids doomed when they can't turn to their aunt, when they can't turn to their mother because she's dancing a jig on TikTok too and checking her mentions? So what does the future hold? The future looks bleak. Does it not? So I'm going to drop the I'll drop the link so you guys can come up here and let's have this conversation. Let's have this conversation. Because the things I'm seeing online, Lord Almighty. Honorable mention, I know you guys, a couple of you hit me about Brittany. What the fuck is her name? Brittany Renner. She's not a quote unquote hoe anymore. I'm going to get into that tomorrow. That's a whole other fucking show. I'll get into that tomorrow and the snowball effect it has and how very, very intelligent that girl is and how she plays men like fiddles. But we'll get into that tomorrow. I know some of you guys have mentioned that to me. We'll get into it tomorrow. Promise. Okay. Not tonight. Tonight, I want to have some grown talk. Let's get this party started. I see my Lily, but the screen went dark. Oh, device not connected. Oh, there we go. Lily.
Hey, I don't know why my thing is not working. I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, let me try this. Nope, it's not. Let me go back and come back in.
No problem. All right, guys. Yeah, so tomorrow, definitely getting into that Brittany Renner thing. It is so funny how it is so funny how men are so emotional and so easily played. You know what I mean? Interesting. Get into it tomorrow. I will get into it mañana, not tonight. Tonight, I want to talk about the twerking grandmas. That's what I want to talk about. And you can come up. Anybody could come up tonight. I dropped the link. Atheist, by the way, I want to give you a thank you to Atheist for staying in the chat and constantly commenting because it keeps me in the algorithm. So, thank you for that, sir. Now I'm going to ignore most of it, but it's great that you're in there. You get people, you get people riled up, and that's good. It's kind of like you're my intern. So pleased to meet you. Glad you're here. So let me go through these comments while Lily comes back. Lily said, I'm a model and I wear pants. I don't know. I guess not. Models don't wear pants, according to Diddy's daughter's fans. What's up, chucking and jiving? What you drinking? I'm drinking protein. What you drinking? You probably drinking. And that's all right. Adonis Renee Cope says, just because our numbers are big, we don't have to look it. You have their own style. Okay, I'm feeling that. Of course, you ain't got. What's up, Veganista? Of course, you ain't got to look your age or act your age. I'm specifically talking about what is we gonna do with these kids? What is we gonna do with these kids? Let me see if I can pull up that picture real quick, because it's very interesting. I could just tell you how to Google it, but you're probably not gonna know what I'm Googling. Oh, here it is. I got the picture. I'll put it up for y'all. And you tell me what y'all think. Quite interesting. Aside from these girls, I'm talking about Diddy's twins. They just celebrate their 16th birthday. Aside from their scantily clad outfits, first of all, they're such pretty girls. Aside from their scantily clad outfits, I just thought that the outfits themselves were tacky, right? The outfits themselves look cheap. Now, with that said, these are Diddy's daughters, so I'm sure they were quite expensive, these outfits, okay? I'm sure they were very, very expensive. But they looked tacky. They were ill-fitting because the girls are very slim. And they were bunching up in the crotch area. They were ill-fitting, right? So I'm going to send this to myself while I bring up Lily again, beautiful Lily, and Elvis, the Chef Rosenberg. How are you, sir? You ain't been up here in a while.
Big Elvis, the Chef Rosenberg. I am here.
Hello. I see that you're here. I'm just getting this picture over to my StreamYard. But Lily meet Elvis. Elvis meet Lily.
Hello, Elvis.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Brother-ish. So tonight's topic is, what kind of elders will we be? And are we losing our elders to social media FOMO? Okay, Lily did bring me the topic, so I would like to give her the mic first and foremost, because I want to know, Lily, what did you see? What did you see that made you come up with this topic?
You know what's crazy is it was something you said earlier, and am I getting the feedback?
No.
Okay. It was something you said earlier, and it totally resonated with me. I think it's because of a couple of things. We come from a different age group, and we come from a different time when our celebrities were more polished. They were more media trained. We had gatekeepers, which were, came with its own set of negatives, but its own set of positives, because it had standards and stuff like that. We had industry standards. I don't know where the hell the industry standards have gone these days.
Right.
And so, my mind state is a little bit different. So I only use social media for work. It is I cannot, it's indispensable for what we do to not have social media. And so I have to use it. But if you know me in real life, I can't stand social media. I hate it. I feel like it's intrusive. I feel like it's just that I come from a different school. Like what goes on in the house stays in the house. And you don't just put out everything that you're eating and that you're thinking and using as your therapy session and all of that. So my mind is a little different. So for that reason, I don't scroll much. I really don't scroll much. But when you log onto an app to post or to engage with your audience, boom, you're hit with stuff, right? You're hit with an immediate post. You're hit with an explore page. And I was noticing, without me even clicking on these things, right, what I was seeing from both men and women. First off, it's mostly like either going to be eggplant prints or cooch prints when it comes to like the whole fitness world. So I'm like, okay, is anyone really working out, or are we just working out? What are we selling here? Are we selling like personal training packages, or are we selling other packages, And so I was looking at that. And then I was just looking at, what people are always harping on the young people and what they're doing and what they're not doing and things like that. But then I look at the people our age and they're starting to morph into that as well. I'm not seeing what do they have to look up to, because we did have people, in our family. And even if we went into the streets, we had OGs, right? And yeah, we weren't listening to them, but seeds were being planted, right? They were being planted. And I know I was one of those people who rebelled and, did everything they told me not to do. I did that shit, right?
Really?
I did. And then some. Okay.
Same.
But I had a whole bunch of seeds, a whole bunch of positive seeds that were planted, so that when I got sick of all of the consequences of all of the things that I was doing, not only did I have seeds planted, but then I also had adults that look up to, like they were still on the right track. Now they had investments, they were doing this, they were doing that, and I was a loser, And so I had something to compare it to. And I've been looking around a lot lately, and I've been really concerned about the youth. The other thing is the youth suicides have gone up like crazy, right? They're unable to distinguish between the real and the fake, because what people are so hard on them, but they're people our age are so hard on them. But we fail to realize that is all they know. They have nothing to compare it to. When we get off of this panel, or when you get off of here at night, you turn the computer off and you go on about your life. This stuff stays with them. I talk to a lot of youth. I mentor a lot of youth, and I'm telling you, they cannot distinguish. This that's in here is way more real to them than what's going on out there. And from what I'm saying, I'm really concerned. And then that morphs into the topic that you talked about with the celebrities and things like that. When the celebrity does something, it's more highlighted. But we've been seeing a lot of that with I'm seeing families arguing on social media. I've seen people in my own family argue on social media, and I'm like, now I'm sitting back watching with the popcorn. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, because I catch myself going through people's pages, and I'm like, I don't know none of these bitches, but I'm going to go here and see what they look. I just want to know what they look like, And I'm just like, but hold on, that's your sister? Like, I'm pretty sure you have her number. Oh, that's your mother? Like, well, wow. I've been seeing a lot of that. So that's my concern. It's like, this doesn't look good for the future. This doesn't look good. And I'm trying to see what is the solution? What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing here?
Right. Before I pass the mic, Ish, you were absent yesterday. So we're giving face on the block with Jen now. So you have the camera. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Elvis, I want to pass the mic to you. You haven't been here for a while. What say you about this new phenomenon where all our elders are no longer at home, right? Telling the kids what to do. They're all on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and the church group is on Facebook, right? The bingo group is on Facebook, and they're arguing with each other. What do you think about that?
I I I have a huge problem with it because it was cute when it was one aunt on Facebook. Now you got six aunts on Facebook now, and then they're moving to the Instagram because now the young people seeing that Facebook is for the older people now, and they're doing the TikTok. The young people are doing the TikTok, and they don't know about the terms and conditions. If you read the terms and conditions of Facebook, it can go through all your files in your phone or on your PC and sell it, store it, put it up for metadata. So all of it's like a big, huge ruse. It's a trick that has been played on us. And I find myself sometimes I can just sit down and I can just hit that thumb and just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And then I found out that people are scrolling the length of the Empire State Building every day. And I'm like, I have to stop that. That's why I actually took my daughter never had a phone. She's only 10, but my son who just turned 12, he lost his phone a week before his birthday, which was just a few weeks ago. And I'm really glad I did that. I had to take the phone away because there's a trick that's being played, and we think it's the youth, but it's not. It's everyone. Everyone has bought into this reality, and it's collecting of massive amounts of data, and they've tricked everyone. And I remember when the news first started to say, you can find us on Twitter now. It's like unimaginable for a person not to be on Twitter as far as like a conglomerate or
Right.
social, newsworthy things. Everyone is on Twitter. Everyone has a website. And the older people, like my father, he's a 70-year-old man who just let the Facebook thing go because, I'm in his ear heavy about that. But he really started to believe that's how he was going to have a relationship with my kids. It's through
Wow.
Facebook. He
Mhm.
really, really seriously believes that he is close to my kids and he can tell them, oh, I remember when you did this. They were like, you weren't even there. He said, no, I watched it on YouTube. I want your father put it on a short. So these people are brainwashed to believe that if they watch a short of me and my kids having dinner, that they are somehow involved in that. It's like the fan. Remember the fan, the fanatic who just believes that they know this person and they know what they like for breakfast, they know what their favorite color is, and they become this obsession with something that they don't even know. And I think that's what's happening. A huge disconnect is happening on such a huge scale that we're being duped at all. And it's all happening from the algorithm. The algorithm is totally duping all of us to believe that we can maintain better relationships with each other virtually.
Mm, that's so deep because a lot of people don't. That was funny about the aunts because I do remember when I had one aunt on Facebook and now they're all there. Now all my aunts
Exactly.
are on Facebook and I'm like, oh my God, now my aunt is telling everybody her ailments and her back hurt and her neck. It's just now everybody on Facebook got to hear this. We were so used to hearing it in person. Thank you so much for the super chat, Fighter Complex. Yes, the truth. What's up, No Saint, Haran, DeMarco, and Brother Ish? I would like to pass the mic. Haran, what say you?
What's happening right now is really just the concept of micro celebrity.
Mm,
And these people just aren't, these people are just regular people and they're not performers. Like, the life of a performer is like, it's not a normal life. Performers aren't normal people. You know what I mean? Like, the ability to shut your emotions on and off on a dime isn't, it's not a normal thing. You dig what I'm saying? So, to go back to what dude was basically saying, yeah, you got 5 or 6 aunts jumping on Facebook talking about their lives, their ailments, their breakups and all these other things, that they don't understand what they're attracting, by disclosing all of this information. Like, people need to just be regular people, in my opinion, and what social media I've seen has done for older people and some even in our age group, is that it's giving them that opportunity to live out this second childhood
Mm.
where they're not
Good point.
behaving
Good
like
point.
their age. Like you trying to be like a 20-year-old, you know what I mean, kid, you know what I mean, you trying to behave like a person who doesn't have 3 or 4 children. Like, no, you had your moment. Your moment, our moment was before this. You understand what life was and how things operated before this. Why are you operating like this, behaving like these children? And these children are lost because they have no leaders. They have no one to really pass down traditions and so on and so forth. Because your grandmama acting like you now. So, you know, you don't know what's going on. Of course, you have no clue about what you should be doing, and you don't know how to differentiate, you know, life outside of this box because no one's sitting you down and telling you, like, yo, there was life outside of this box before. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there was this thing that we created called fire and electricity, and we discovered the sun. You know what I mean? All happened before, you know, you actually opened this box. You know what I mean? And we're not explaining to them or behaving in a particular manner where they can say like, oh, okay, this is a point of reference of a person who acts like, you know what I mean, this is reality.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So they don't have no concept of reality because it's not being passed down to them.
Mhm.
You know, like the funny thing about Master P, I just want to say is that he's in the middle of an argument with his son, and this motherfucker was selling his cereal. Like that's a complete disconnect from the situation.
Yep.
Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, this motherfucker's house is burning down and he's selling Cheerios. Like that just shows a complete disbandment from reality. Like
He
you
was
don't
proving his
understand
son's point.
exactly what he was doing. And
Whoa,
I'm
whoa,
like,
whoa.
you know what I'm
Why we
saying?
changing
And
the topic?
you know what I'm saying? I mean, no, we're not changing the topic, not at all.
I'm
You
getting
know what I
triggered.
mean?
Please don't talk about
You know what I
Master
mean?
P, man, in a
You know
negative
what I
way.
mean? And
Please.
the whole point of the matter is that when I saw that happen, I saw an older person behaving with a bit of arrested development and not
Mhm.
just behaving like an adult. So I'll
Okay.
pass the mic on that.
Okay.
What?
So I wanted before we pass the mic to Ish, I did want to ask you, Haran, or unless you have to run somewhere.
I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. So I'll ask you when you get back. Brother Ish, what say you?
Hmm.
There's the problem in our society that I believe is that we don't have a structured social construct that we're following. So our elders are assuming random roles versus there being kind of an esteemed position in society on how things should be, or a structured system that has been tried, true, and tested. The old quote that says, "Elders are for counsel, youth are for war." There's another scriptural reference that says, "The glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is their hairy gray hairs." Um, so the valuation of time and experience and information is not now being passed on to the younger generation. You've had elements of attempts at that with, you know, having the OGs within the gang culture, but that shows that there's a need always in some sort of social construct to have some sort of counseling elder that's in your environment, whether they're guided or misguided is you know, to be determined. But the basic element is that there's always a need for somebody to kind of guide the youth into to a course that they're going to make. Even in a lot of the LGBT cultures, they have individuals who mother you through your process. You know, I'm not familiar with all the terminology, but there are individuals who say, okay, this is what you could run into. This is how you should handle it. This is the best way to approach these things. And you know, so there's a sociological need that in this environment, when it comes to social media, has not been established yet, because we're now just experiencing this in real time. you know, the elders are now getting involved in this social media and Facebook and Instagram and the whole nine, but they haven't really mastered it in the same way that the youth have to be able to be some sort of guide. So I think that this generation is going to kind of meander awkwardly through it, and the next generation is really going to have some sort of founding philosophy and approach to dealing with it.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to kind of touch on something based off something that Brother Ish said. And by me being a part of two major communities that I see a lot on social media, which is both the Black community and the LGBT community, what he said is the difference, right? Because what I hear a lot of is like, well, if I was gay, I would be able to say blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, true. You know, and the reason is because we stick together because there is a hierarchy, there is a level of respect for those who came before us, and we stick together even if we don't agree with each other, right? And that is based off of like a family environment and a level of respect for, like, and you were using the right term, is mother, you know, we're gonna listen to mother, we're gonna listen to auntie, you know. And I feel that's what's lost, because when I look at the other community that I'm a part of, that's being broken down and being lost. And then that's why we can't stick together. And that's why we're unable to get what we want, because we're not respecting who came before us, the hierarchy and blah, blah, blah. You know, there's just no respect there. So, yeah, I agree with that.
No, Saint, what say you?
Hey everybody, how everybody doing? Trying to get a new look here with my hoodie. I mean, Elvis the chef's on there. He's always looking, you know, dapper. So I'm trying to change my look.
No, Saint, are you participating in the favorite sin of vanity? Is that what's going on with you?
Well, Jen's forcing our hand, man. She's making us come on here cammed up and everything.
If I was a Smurf, I'll be Vanity Smurf.
No, man, I think everybody has a lot of good points. I think Haran I agree with him 100%. What I'm finding is, like, at least in my world, like, I don't do TikTok. I don't see the point. I don't know the difference between TikTok and Vine. I thought Vine was the same thing. I mean, I don't really understand. So I'm thinking eventually that's going to go away and something else is going to take its place. I think Facebook is fading. I mean, like Jen, you said you don't even hardly do it. I barely go on. And the reason is because, you know, like they were saying, it's like, I remember like being overseas and you were like, you know, that was something, like if you could see your family on Facebook or like some kind of video thing, like you're, you know, like if you're overseas and you're missing your family, but it's not a substitution for, you know, you find out really fast that it's cool that you can see your family and talk to them, but it's not like being there and hugging them and having a social interaction. And what I find, like, especially with Facebook, with all these older generations getting on, is it turned into just a shit show. I mean, people talk about politics, yelling at each other. It totally went south. And so I find myself much happier not being on those platforms. And that's why this YouTube thing is kind of nice, because if you're going to say something, at least you're going to say it to somebody's kind of like somebody's face, you know. It's not going to be this, and you get context and everything. But anyway, yeah, I think it's a mess. I think we're worse as a society with all this substitution for real socialization.
Right.
Okay, Master P. I'm sorry. Like I got Master P on my mind. Elvis, you said don't talk about Master P or get off topic. But one of the topics was Master P and the interaction he had with his son, Little Romeo, online.
Oh, okay.
Do you think it was
my bad. I was definitely wrong. I just didn't know where it was going. I maybe it's because I was a little triggered, because I totally disagree. I went through Master P's social media. Everything is to he's trying to use it for business. Even the Twitch when Twitch deleted himself, he threw in that little caveat of Twitch was supposed to be performing at a party he's doing, which I think is tacky. Don't get me wrong, it's
Right.
way super tacky. But I would like to see Romeo so I could jump out my car and curse his ass out. Let me know if he's in. I'm over here by Rockefeller Center. Let's check where he's at because I want to curse his ass out. Because
so why do you curse? Why you want to curse his ass out?
I can't stand Little Romeo for what he did. Little Romeo was dead wrong. I hope that this is some sort of ruse. Another ruse. This is the second time I'm using this reference, and it's not a word that I just learned neither. So I don't know why I just keep saying it. It's appropriate though, because I hope that this is because he's on that show. He has a reality TV show that his father originally told him to not do. And then now he's back on it. So this might be part of his storyline. If this is part of his storyline, then no problem. Y'all live your life. But if this is a true, sincere young man who's airing out his dirty laundry to his father, and then I hate when he said that he does everybody well, but not his family. It's like, let's take the company Uber. Uber has never made a profit, but the CEO still got paid. The janitors still got paid. The secretaries, they all got paid. Yeah, but I bet you Master P don't get paid. You know, he's the Uber in this analogy. He's the guy who spent over $800,000 promoting an album that didn't make back $800,000 for his son. The 3 albums that he produced, he paid for the videos. He rented the cameras. He got the grips. He got the people that catered the damn place. Everybody got paid. Master P didn't get paid before Little Romeo didn't get paid. Master P, everything on his social media is about him trying to make a buck. He is hustling his ass off, and he's making so little money. And then another reference real quick is the guy who owns the dump truck, and he's driving the dump truck and everything is going great. So he decides to buy another dump truck and hire a worker. Then he gets another dump truck. By the 4th dump truck, he realizes that he's poor and broke. He should have just kept the 1 dump truck. Because you have so much overhead, so much taxes. When you get into there's this little thing where you can almost make it to a certain tax bracket. If you don't never make it to that tax bracket, 55% of your money is going to the government, period. So
Okay,
there's a lot that we don't know. We don't know. How dare Romeo put that thing out there in public, his dirty laundry in public like that, about a man who's just done nothing but bust his ass for his family, bust his ass for all his employees. You know how many employees this man must have had throughout the years? How many lives he done changed? And you mad? You 31 years old, dude. You ain't got no stock of your own. Nobody stopped you from getting stock. Nobody stopped you from getting Bitcoin. Nobody stopped you from getting any kind of currency. No one to stop you from getting more of an education. These kids are so spoiled. These kids, man, they just so ungrateful.
Okay,
and they so spoiled.
Hold on. So to get back to the topic, do you think it was appropriate for Master P to respond to Little Romeo on social media versus pulling up at his house and asking him, what are you doing? Why are you putting our family name out like this?
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with him being on the internet, going back with his son, but he did say to his son that you could come call me. And he said, I'm only doing this because of my son. My son is not getting back to me. He's not coming to the house. So this is how he felt he needed to communicate with him. I wouldn't have done it. But actually, that's not true. I had a falling out with a friend of mine, and I put an episode. I was in the pool last year, and I spent 20 minutes airing out some feelings that I had about a business move that we made, and didn't work out. So I did it too, even though I know I put that on private. 20 minutes later, I was like, "What am I doing?" And I put it on private. But still, it's like we make these mistakes. But how dare Romeo come at his father publicly like that? Even if it was true, what the hell are you telling me for? Even if it was true.
Okay, Lily, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, you know what? He reminded me of a couple of things that my bestie and I have been talking about a lot lately. What I've been noticing is that when I was growing up, right? We grew up. My family was just doing what they could to keep us fed and make sure we didn't die, right? And sometimes that looked like, if Auntie got money, if she got some food stamps, we all gonna eat good, Or if my mother got it, then we all gonna eat good. We grew up, almost poor, but we were happy. There was a lot of love, and they also made a lot of mistakes. Okay, boom. I grow up, but because I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, and because the entire generation of all of my cousins and all of us, we didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth. We have hustle, we have resiliency. We don't have time to fucking cry about something. We just gotta go ahead and get up and do it, and hopefully we can afford a therapy in the next 10 years. Okay. And then my generation had kids, and it was like, okay, now we want to protect our kids from every bad thing we went through, and we're doing well, and so we're going to give our kids everything that we didn't have. And then now their children are teens or young adults, and they don't know how to fend for life. They're very entitled. They don't have the emotional stability. They're not prepared for the world and all of that stuff. But then you have my generation who worked hard, who did a lot to get to where we are at, who gave the kids everything that they wanted. And we're like, well, what are you crying about, you little spoiled rich kid? And so I see a lot of like, that's where the disconnect is coming from. It's because like a lot of people from this generation, we're kind of like self-made, and we did it because we had to. And so, but a lot of us overcompensated with this generation that's now teenagers and young adults with cell phones and followings, right? And they feel like they don't have to listen to you, but they're not prepared for the world. So they're just kind of just, and then they have the mommy and daddy issues. And I was one of those people too. I had my fair share of mommy daddy issues like crazy, but I knew not to. It was just like everything in me knew never to take it to social media ever. And we worked it out. I mean, we were getting it in behind closed doors, but we worked it out. And now we can show up on social media and take the smiley pictures, and we really are one big happy family, So I just see it being pretty unfortunate. I see a lot of the young people, they're not prepared for life. They're not emotionally stable at all. So that's why they pick up their phone and blah, 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 blah. But now these adults are not even emotionally mature. So they do the same thing. I don't know. Everyone just wants to be right. No one wants to hear the other side. So.
Right. I wanted to ask Ron a question. Earlier you were talking about how it's like the older people are doing what the younger people are doing. Is there a thin line, right? Because people say, well, just because you have kids, your life isn't over. Just because you're a grandmother, your life isn't over. Just because you're a great grandma, your life isn't over, right? You shouldn't like sit somewhere in a rocking chair and die because you're an older person now. And people say, well, act your age and things like that. So is there a thin line? Should elders completely not be involved in social media, not be doing anything and stay in their place? Or should they there's a thin line. So what is it? Should they be allowed to have fun with the youngins? Should they not be on social media at all? What do you think?
I think they should be, there's a difference between having fun with the kids and you're behaving like a child. Huge difference. A lot of adults also, they do not exercise healthy conflict resolution. They don't know how to debate and have conflicting ideas like adults or like adults should. They behave and yell at each other like children. So again, these kids, they see that, they think that's how adults are supposed to actually, speak to each other. These children are watching. Now to go to one of the points that I heard earlier, it's I think Lily was saying it, and she was basically saying that there's a hierarchy in the LGBTQ portion of her community, and she was basically saying that due to this hierarchy, there's a degree of respect and so on. And in the Black community, one of the things that you see, again, that's a problem, is how's it going to be respect the big homie if big homie is calling little homie big homie? You know what I mean? You sitting around running around with children, you know what I mean, calling the little homie big homie, and you big broing him and all this kind of shit. It's just everything is just backwards, man. There has to be a line, there has to be a separation, and it has to be clear. It has to be clear that even though we're cool, and there might even be a friendship, there's clarity that you and me, we not in the same space. We're not of the same tax bracket.
Correct.
We're not of the same knowledge base. We're not of the same wisdom base. You know what I mean? And there's not that sense of clarity and separation between the age groups. So when there's not that kind of clear separation, of course you're gonna have anarchy.
I noticed that with social media, especially, like a lot of men are considered quote unquote high value or of importance according to their following, where you have a man, say like Thunder and Lightning, where you have, and just as an example, you have a man like Kevin Samuels and other men who are really not accomplished men in the real world. Like they'll be backed up on child support, twice, 3 times divorced, children, different baby mothers. But if they have 1 million subscribers, right, to other men that don't have 1 million subscribers, will big bro that person, will godfather that person. They will look up to that person like they're important. Meanwhile, they actually have their lives more intact than that person that has 1 million subscribers. But because the 1 million subscriber guy looks like a celebrity to them, they start big broing them and hanging on every word they say. And that's the power of social media. So I do see a lot of men like big broing other men. I'm like, he's your same age. Like your life is more put together than his. How is he your big brother or your godfather or your stepdad? And I'm like, you guys are the same age, right? Right about the same tax bracket, because that's why you're in the same circle. So that's another, I think, bamboozling that a big following or a big subscriber count does to men. So I think that's the problem. What you just said, there's no line, there's no defining line as to who should be respected, who should be looked up to. There's no defining line, especially when you're using the line of, well, who's most famous online. Like somebody will listen to a Kevin Samuels before they would listen to their own grandfather or their own father, because Kevin Samuels has 1 million subscribers. So he must be important, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 million people checking in for him. I wanted to ask Ish something too. Thank you so much, Afro Universe, for this super chat. Ish, are you there? 3, 2, 1. Okay. You said earlier there's no social construct. That's why there's kind of chaos. There's no social construct, and that's old people doing whatever, young people doing whatever. But when was there a social construct that you recognize? When was there a social construct where it's like grandma was at home in the rocking chair and the elders were respected in the neighborhood? Where was that social construct?
I mean, there must multiple periods of time historically where it existed. Hold 1 second. I'm sorry.
That's great.
There are different periods of time when those different societies have had their constructs, even in 30, 40, 50 years ago.
So you're saying it's not
now. I mean, I feel that it's in a reset, and it's Jen. I need 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Okay.
You
Go ahead, Lily.
I remember a few years back there was an article that came out about Oprah and Gayle. And I don't know if you remember this article when they said that they were irritated by people calling them auntie and don't call them auntie. And and I remember when that story hit, it didn't sit well with me.
I remember Ava DuVernay saying that.
Okay.
Not that long ago. So she said that too.
I think she was in that same article. And that didn't sit well with me because, you know, I'm kind of the auntie of the block. I'm Auntie Lily. I just got like 2 Christmas cards, you know, from the little kids in the block, and they were addressed Miss Lily. Because I still make these kids call me Miss Lily. Like, yes, I'm the fun auntie. Yes, I'll get out and play chalk with you in the summertime. Yes, I'll help you catch lightning bugs, but I'm Miss Lily. Don't get it confused.
Right.
You know, and even when I have my niece and nephew, it's the same thing. Like I'm the fun one. I have a youthful energy. I have a youthful spirit. There's a difference between being youthful and being immature. 2 different things, right? And so it's so funny when I have my niece and my nephew, the people or whoever's around, they're like, wow, those kids know the difference between when you're serious and when you're Auntie Lily, like, you know, and I think that's where that's little things like that chipped away at the social constructs, because you don't see kids calling people Miss such and such anymore like they used to. They barely even call their aunts and uncles aunt such and such and uncle such and such. It's like little things like that chip away at the respect level, because one of the things I've learned about children is that they actually like structure. Whether they balk at it or not, they need it and they like it, you know, because it's like you look at the kid who was allowed to do everything that they wanted to do. They envied the more traditional household. So I don't know. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. So Ish, you're back.
So
we're talking about social construct. You don't see one now. You don't see that there's a social construct now. Your connection.
I think that it's finding it's really bad.
Yeah, it's like you're stuck. You're pixelated. No.
Wow.
Crap.
Okay, I'm clear on my side. All right, I'll and reset.
Okay. You're moving in slow-mo over there. So I did want to ask this question, because I know a lot of us, you know, you have to evolve or evaporate, especially those of us that are artists. We need this social media cesspool, because it's the way, right? I'm with you, Lily. I think it's absolutely horrible. It's the worst thing that have happened to humanity, and a lot of bad things happen to humanity. But I've never seen anything touch the different generations. Like I've seen social media touch different generations, where usually when bad things are put out for us, for the general population, conspiracy theory or not, it seems to hit a certain demographic, and it's always the youth and the people that are out there. But this thing has hit even our elders. Our aunts are on here arguing, our fathers, our mothers, you know what I mean? They're watching everything and then going and telling the other aunt or the cousin, like, did you see what she posted? Did you see what she said? Like it's even a form, you know what I mean, of gossip. So I've never seen, I think this is unprecedented. I think we've ever seen anything like social media, and then people are addicted to it. People are trying to rehab off of social media. So this is serious shit. And I remember when back in the day, it was like, oh, I'm just here to keep up with my friends. I'm just here to keep it. And it snowballed into something really ugly, something very vitriolic. So what do you think of us in the future? Even though we have to be here because we're artists, if I hit a lick, my assistant's going to take care of my social media. I will not be here. I will not be here. I can't take it. I don't like the content. I don't like the concept. I don't like the conversations. I don't like the pictures. I don't like the twerking. I don't like the dick prints. I don't like the BBLs. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the murder porn. I don't like the racism porn. It's just too much. I don't think our brains are supposed to be consuming this 24 hours a day, right? So I try to avoid a lot of things. I've unfollowed a lot of people, specifically celebrities. But with that said, what do you think about this? The magic question. What kind of elders will we be, seeing as we're all on social media? We're on it right fucking now, talking about people that are on it or on it too much. So what kind of elders are we gonna be when our kids are looking at us or our grandchildren are looking at us and we got our heads down, you know, looking at the phone or the computer? What kind of elders are we gonna be?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Unfortunately, we're going to be the elders that if we don't have a huge following, we won't be respected. The way
Dang.
you said, like, so my children, I have under 3,000 subscribers. And I just got monetized yesterday, by the way.
Oh, good.
And my children are going to, no matter what I do and no matter what I say, it would be very, very foolish of me not to think that my children are not going to want me to have more followers because that's where they'll say, oh, my father's a YouTuber and he has 150,000 subscribers.
Wow.
How many does your father have? And I think, unfortunately, we will fall victim of that. And the future, the future is like right now we're preparing for the have and the have-nots, and there's going to be this thing called a universal income that they're pushing. And in the next 15 years, it's going to really be where I'm 49. And the next 15 years, I will be the elder. And my children, unfortunately, might judge me depending on how my status in this social engineered, someone says social engineering, and the concept of the way it used to be versus now. But my argument is that this social engineering is a process where we are socially engineering the future to be about clout. And either you're going to have it, that's the haves, or you're not, and that's the have-nots. And most of the people that are going to be on these universal incomes in the next 15 years are only going to respect the haves. It's going to shift. The paradigm that we're in is basically more of a lateral move than a up or back. It's all just seems to be smoothing out into this have and have not, and people are just falling victim into it, and they're going to be on a check. You know, you're going to put everybody on a check who ain't got it, and you're only going to look up to the people that got it. And
Fuck. Okay, so let me jump in. Damn. So that's a lot of food for thought, especially for my off the block with Jen team, because that's why I want to start this now. In a couple fucking years, it's going to be the haves and the have-nots. And listen, it's already happening because production studios are overlooking talent now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care if you can sing. They don't care if you can act. They don't. How many followers do you have, ma'am?
boom.
I went to a major audition recently, okay? And they asked me on the freaking paperwork, social media following. And this was a major production with a major actress. And even they were like, how many people are following you, ma'am? So it's already happening, Elvis. So it's going to be even worse in 15 years because it's like, who's most important? This is like a fucking episode of Black Mirror come to life where we have numbers on the side of our head. Are we a 3.5 or are we a 4? It's already happening. What do you want to say, No Saint?
Yeah, I think you're making a great point.
Wow.
And it's because you triggered something in my mind. I thought about it. It's because when you have a cult following or a large following, they're more likely to follow you and watch whatever show you're in, whatever movie. I was thinking about Howard Stern going to satellite radio. He saved satellite radio. He brought like 14 million fans over there, whatever it was. They were like about to go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And who knows what's going to happen when he retires eventually. So you make a good point. Like, I can't believe they're doing it at studios, but it makes sense. Like if you have 2 million followers, well, that's 2 million easy people that are going to, even if the film's garbage, they're going to go watch it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
And then the universal income thing, because everything's becoming computerized and robots are coming in the future and everything, where it's getting harder to make a living. So that's a real deal. What he's talking about them thinking about a income for basically people that will be obsolete. You won't need people to work the jobs that we're working today.
So I went, I did a film in Miami, and the girls there basically had a big social media following. I was the only actress there.
Well, the last movie when I was still doing makeup, the last film that I did makeup on, that's exactly what it was. A bunch of influencers pretending to be actors, and oh God, yeah, it was horrible. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, are you serious? But
And they don't even care. And this isn't just independent films. Like Tyler Perry hired 5 influencers for one of his films, for one of his Halloween films. So this is real. This is what we're competing with now. This is
Right.
what we're competing with now. So it's like for all the people that are like, oh, you must be a thespian and go to Juilliard. Well, I got 3 million followers. Boop. You know what I mean? That's what it's becoming now. Nobody gives a fuck what school you went to.
don't
How many
care.
followers do you have? And that's the fucking reality of it. And let me tell you, it changes the environment and the vibe of being on set, but we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it because that's what the production wants. That's what the director wants. He wants all eyes. And now girls are even lying about how many followers they have. One of the films I did, this girl's like, yeah, I have 3 million followers. I was looking at her like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I get it. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah. I had someone try to offer me their services as far as their Instagram because they said they had 180,000 Instagram followers. He only had 32,000. But when I went through it, it wasn't the crowd that I was looking for. I'm not looking for the cool kids to come to my dispensary. I'm looking for the person who doesn't like a lot of colors in their face, who wants to get high and wants to be in a calm situation. I'm not looking for all this hype and, things flashing at my dispensary. So, why did I say that? Sorry.
It's okay. And then we
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I totally lost that, what I was just doing right now.
Well, basically, Veganista says that that followers equal money, and that's not always the case, and that's what people think. Like if you're like two of the easiest things to do on social media to get a lot of followers is to show your body, or to post something divisive, right? That's easy, fail proof. Any of us can do it, right? And
not men.
If you
Not
look
men.
Men
Not
are
men. We can't show our feet and make a buck. That ain't gonna happen.
I know a couple people.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, there's a lot of men foot pages out there now. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff out there now. But like he was saying, like what's funny? One of the other things that I was my last towards the tail end of me doing makeup, I got a call from the City Girls management team, right? Like literally on the cusp of them becoming the City Girls that we know today. Like they were literally, it was like probably maybe 2 weeks before they really blew up, right? And so the people called and they last minute needed us to come down because whoever hair and makeup team, this is when I was still in Atlanta, didn't come through for whatever reason. And of course they didn't want to pay the full rate. Well, by this time I was,
of course.
You know what I'm saying? By this time I didn't care about none of that stuff. I was fully established and my company was fully, I didn't care. But the other part of it was too, I looked through their, because I didn't know who they was. So I called one of my hairstylists who's younger and she knew who they were. She was going up like, oh my God, they got 1 million subscribers, this and that. So I went through their page and just like him, I was like, but these aren't the people that I want to appeal to. So kudos to these young ladies. I didn't know who they were at the time, but I was like, kudos to these young ladies. I'm glad they're doing big things, but they're just not my demographic. It's not a good fit. This is not the money I want. And they're not going to want, it's not going to equal money. It's just going to equal more of that. Like more people who want stuff because they have followers. No.
Yes. And I wanted to add to what you said, Lily, the transition doesn't always equal bucks, because you see that a lot with I call them the car comedians, the comedians that yell in their car and do different skits. Those people start doing stand-up, right? And then they can't pull people into the club because the people that are watching you on Instagram don't give a fuck that you're going to be at the comedy club, because those aren't the people that go to comedy clubs. So the comedy clubs, the comedy clubs book them thinking, oh, you have 1 million followers, it's such and such who yells in the car, yay. And then you're at the comedy club and you're outside because they can't transition well. And another thing we notice is when we're arguing with people online, the first thing they do is go see how many followers. Yeah, that's why you only got 255 followers. And it means something. Like it means something.
It's weird. It is weird.
Holy fuck.
It's so true.
So that was an interesting answer, Elvis. We're gonna be I'm gonna need 5 million followers for my kids to listen to me now.
For them to respect you.
It's true though, but
You can't listen to me. I have 5 million followers, young lady.
Right.
it's really true because like I'm gonna be real with you. I think that's the only reason why I'm Auntie Lily on the block is because of the things that they can see tangible on their TV and stuff like that. Because if I was just maybe, I don't know. I think that sometimes like because it seems like clout does equal money and clout equals that people know what they're talking about these days. It's just so weird. Like, and I was about to say something, but it was like, you know. Yeah, I'm
say
leave
it.
it at that.
Say it.
No, because this is way.
Say it. You on the block.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. Fuck it. I want to block. I'm just saying. I mean, the only reason why people was listening to Bill Gates is because he had a lot of money.
Facts.
Just saying. Like, what knowledge did he have in the area that people were listening to?
I think we all co-sign that.
I know, but you know that's a real and I don't like. I try to stay away from that one because I can go and I'm like I'm not trying right now. Like,
well, I'll say this for any of those people that make it, like even Steve Jobs and a lot of these guys were like, they do have a capability with their brains that are a lot of them were Harvard dropouts, you know. So it's like I respect people that are able to do certain things at a high level at the top of their game because it does show that they put in the time and work and have the mind to be able. So I don't know what part of Bill Gates, you know, I don't what part you're saying who listens to him or why we listen to him. You know, I don't know what he studied. Like, I know he's doing stuff with vaccines and things like that. So I'm not sure how in depth he was in that, but I imagine that he did some reading and he probably did some things, you know. I think that's why they get respect, in my opinion. I think that's why they get respect. People at the top of their game. I always know that it doesn't come like it, you know, people just see the finished product, but they don't see the work. And I understand that it's a lot of hard, 10,000 hours and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of respect that when it comes to people on that level. And that goes for anybody. That goes, anybody at the top of their game.
Is that money, money can buy clout. There are a lot of idiots who have a lot of money, and people respect them. Like, you can't even talk about their morals or their character because the retort is always, they rich though.
Yeah, how much money do you have? Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. That's the difference I'm talking about. Like, I don't have any respect for like Paris Hilton or anything because she's like, I don't listen to what she says, but I think there's a difference between the people that made that money, coming from a lower spot, I guess, you know what I mean? Like Bill Gates he didn't grow up wealthy, not on the level he is now. And so that's what I'm saying. But yeah, Paris Hilton or any of these
Bill
people.
Gates?
Yeah.
Sorry. Bill Gates' father was the one who allowed Bill Gates to work in these computers that would have cost him $2,500 an hour. He had free access to.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he was broke. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he was broke, but he certainly he certainly wasn't as rich as he is now. No, I understand he wasn't broke.
Yeah, he comes from money, of a huge family of eugenicists. This is a big money.
Really?
These people.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
That's what he comes from, and that's
he comes
what
from
they're
a huge.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bill Gates. Yo, I was looking while you were talking for the paperwork, but I have a class action lawsuit against not me, but I'm a shareholder in the Inovio company, and they sent me all the paperwork to fill out. They about to send me a check. I mean, I lost $7 damn grand on the Inovio company, but there was a class action lawsuit against them, and they're gonna send me a check. So I gotta finish filling out the paperwork. My wife must have brought it inside the house. She does all that stuff for me. But
Nice, nice.
yeah. The Inovio is part of Bill Gates, and they lied.
Oh wait, Elon Musk, rich family too. These guys, you talking about white privilege up in here, no saint.
No. Listen, I don't know about Elon Musk's background. They may have come from a wealthy family, but there's plenty of people come from wealthy families that don't do it. Don't do the things that these guys have done.
They're not evil. Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
listen, I'm
They're
not
not
going to get
evil
in.
enough
I'm
to
not
do
going
it.
to. I know there's conspiracies around some of these people. I'm not going to get into that though.
Yeah.
Havans and Marco, you've been quiet down there.
People are just full of shit, man.
And he comes back with that.
People are just full of shit. You, the average person, you put yourself in this situation. You're the reason why you're the reason why social media is fucked up. And I'm gonna explain this all to you.
Break it on down.
And my background is a software engineer,
Okay.
and I've been a
Right.
software engineer since 2007. So I was here since Black Planet, basically.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I saw it all come together. You know what I mean? I was here before Facebook. I was here before Twitter. I was here before MySpace. You know what I mean? So I saw it all come together. And at the end of the day, I was trained to take your money. I was trained to create applications that takes your data, and your data is your money.
Right.
I was trained to basically create situations to destroy your life. And we knew that you were going to agree to it because you know how we knew we were going to agree to it? We were going to give you free access.
Right.
The perception was that it didn't cost you anything. How's your old friend doing? Don't you want to catch up on that old love? Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. All you need to do is give me what? Your email address. That's it. Just give me an email address, and that'll be the only thing you'll have to do, and you'll get your own little page. You'll get your own. You'll be able to engage in what a lot of people don't want to admit, their own narcissism. You get to create your own little page, your own little colors. You get to put all your fucking photos on there. You get to talk about all the shit nobody really gives a shit about but you. But we're going to help convince you that everyone gives a shit about it, because you know what we're going to do? We're going to put something right below that little photo that gives you the interaction you need and the verification that you matter. It's called a like. We're going to put a little heart there. We're going to make sure that, you know, people can keep pressing it and pressing it. And after a while, you're going to get addicted to that like. You're going to get addicted to this. You're going to get addicted to that attention. You're going to keep coming back because you need to have that attention. Because out in the real world, you probably aren't that much of a big deal. But here within this little box, you know what I mean, where you created your shrine, and you threw all your shit on there, all your crap, you know, which is also your data. You know what I mean? You threw all your shit on there, and you all, you know what I mean, talked about, you know, topics you really don't know anything about, but you just wanted to hear yourself talk. Again, your narcissism. But at the end of the day, the one thing that you did that destroyed you was that you gave up your power. You gave up your power by not, now here's the paradox. You gave up your power by not allowing gatekeepers to control what you consumed. See, the democratization of communication gave you all the ability to basically say what was on your mind. And it sounds like a great idea because it's like, okay, now you don't have to go through this person. You don't have to go through that person. You don't have to do this. Yeah, but guess what? If one idiot is allowed to actually speak on something, 100 million more fucking idiots are allowed to speak on something.
Mm-hmm.
And all that does is create noise. You no longer have a filter. There's no one there to separate anything anymore. So guess what? Now you might be a person with talent. You might be a person who actually knows what the fuck you're doing. Now you got to go through 100 million idiots though, who got more attention than you, probably don't have more talent than you, probably don't not as skilled as you ever were, but they got more attention than you because that's the currency now. But here's the big punchline, the biggest punchline that nobody's paying attention to. You don't own any of this shit. Elon Musk does. Mark Zuckerberg does. He owns your social media page. You don't own that data. See, you could have created your own website and created your own traffic and created your own, situation where you had other people that were interested in your product actually giving you their email address. And you can create newsletters. You can actually have a one-on-one conversation with these people and so on and so forth. But that would have cost you money. So they drew you into this other thing, that's not going to cost you a dime. And you all kept giving your shit there. And now what happens now? Now you can get your Instagram page shut down at the drop of a dime. Oh, Elon Musk doesn't like you. Oh, all right, just shut down his fucking page. There's nothing you can do about it. You're not going to sue. You can't sue because it's not your shit. You know what I mean? Now, if it was your website and somebody tried that shit, that's called a hack. It's a DNS attack. You can actually look into that. You can have somebody arrested and charged. But all this shit, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, you paid with your data to rent notoriety. That's what it was.
Well, damn.
Now, but how much do you feel like algorithms are playing in like fixed algorithms?
Oh, this whole shit is
because it's all a fixed game.
This whole shit is fixed algorithms. I can tell you, look, man, I've been online and I've seen things that people are actually engaging in that I know I was on the team that created that shit. And I'm just like, ugh. You know what I mean? And look, man, there's hacks that could I can hack into your fucking computer allegedly, and I can record what you're actually typing on your keyboard.
Oh, that's crazy. Hit that like for me, please. Y'all getting all this information.
I can I can know what, that's your password. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, this shit is deep. This shit is real
really
deep.
Surprised. I'm not.
You know what I mean? There's things that I don't want to even say right now because my face is now being seen and I don't want Black Hawk helicopters coming through the door or some shit like that.
No, it's really deep when you start studying like the behind the scenes of how this stuff really works and how inorganic it is. Because at one point it was the type of situation. Because I think that some people still think when they post something, all of their followers see it. I don't know who those people are, but there are people who still really think that because they still get mad like ain't nobody supporting me. I'm like, girl, something you said triggered the algorithm.
You know how they do that, right? You know how they did that, right?
Wow.
Because basically Instagram wants you to pay for advertising.
Advertisements, yeah.
They want you to pay for advertising. They're like, oh, you got all these followers now? All right, this hashtag shit ain't working anymore.
Right.
Like I realized that when I got on IG.
The hashtags are dead. The hashtags are dead.
Like when I went on IG and when I went on IG and I put up some hashtags and I realized it wasn't working. I'm like, oh shit, they must have shut this down and blah blah blah. Cause I put two and two together and be like, oh, they want you to spend money on advertising. Okay, I see what this is. Oh yeah, they can just change. They can always move the goalposts.
They always move it every 90 days. Well, they move it every day, but every 90 days, what happened before is obsolete.
So I'm curious. So that I understand the hashtag. You put a hashtag in it. I guess it pulls up a lot of stuff like hashtag, Jen and a bunch of gens. So you're saying they got rid of that. So how does that? I'm trying to put it together.
The power of it. The power of it. You know what I mean? The usefulness of it, they got rid of it. You can put hashtag Jen all you want now. This shit ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how does that turn into they want to pay for advertisement. Like I'm trying to.
Well, what it turns into is that what I notice is that they immediately have a boost post button under every single post that you give. If I'm noticing that if you're an artist or some sort of business and so on and so forth, they specifically have something there that gives you the option of boosting your post. So I'm looking at it from a design perspective.
Yeah.
If someone is sitting there trying to gain some traction and these hashtags are no longer working, they're probably thinking to themselves like, how the hell can I, get some traction? And conveniently, there's a nice blue big button that says boost post right where the keyboard is. And like, look, listen. The way something is designed, how you look at it, this is science. This is literally something called a Z line of how your eyes move when you read something. It's called a Z line. You'll see something here, you'll see something there, and then you go down, and then you go down. Now go to a site one day and notice something. The beginning of the Z, what do you often see? You often see the logo. You see the logo of the page. And you go, and then you see, and then when you follow the Z, you'll see the menu. And then when you finally go down, you'll see what everyone's talking about. So by the time you get down to the Z, all the information has been fed into your subconscious that your Facebook, this is where you want to control it. Boom, there's all your friends, and you're locked in. This is called UX design, by the way. User experience.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man.
And the other thing is, we're lab rats.
The other part of that is they're extra desperate now because iPhone changed their policy and they don't just automatically give all of the real-time data to places like Facebook and stuff like that. So they've lost billions of dollars. So now they're trying to get that back by making us pay to play. And that's why the hashtag button is no longer.
Like right now, I have to go get a new phone right now. You know what I mean? My iPhone, I tried to desperately hang on to this shit. Now it's to the point where this shit is completely obsolete now. I can't update any software. I can't get any new shit. You know what I mean? I'm basically fucking stuck with this phone. And my LTE connection is fucked up. Oh, they'll make you buy something. Don't think you can just opt out of this shit now. Yeah. You will buy something.
And like you said, even with TikTok, they it's an addictive thing. They know like we talked about. The food industry knows you better than you know you. They know what you're gonna. Same with this digital. They know you better than you know. They study it to make that money. So what I was gonna say was that Ron, I'll let you go. You threw me off though.
Look, listen. No one knows your spouse better than Google.
Damn.
No one knows your spouse better than Google. Okay, like
that's true because you're gonna Google shit.
That could be a T-shirt.
TM.
I'm gonna have to steal that. I gotta steal that, man. I'm getting a T-shirt made at the mall tomorrow.
Damn.
I'm
in the trademark right now.
Sorry.
That's the other part of this issue because with traveling, if you know that when you travel and go to other countries, you notice that the TikTok and the Instagram algorithms are set up completely different.
Yeah.
They're more educational. They don't. And in addition to that, there is a pause. Like you can't just scroll to the top of the Empire State Building in China. Like there's a pause. Like you can only go but so many minutes, and then they pause you, and then it only works between the hours of 4 to something. Like it's not 24 hours. And the other thing, like the stuff that's getting sent to their algorithms, the stuff that they're promoting is more educational, more news, more propaganda. But with us, they send like if if you're twerking, if you're half naked, then that gets promoted. Then you monetize it. So now they're incentivizing you to do it a little bit more, take off a little bit more clothes, twerk a little bit harder, be a little bit more stupid, create another crate challenge like situation, and we'll monetize it.
Why? Why does America want that for us? Why?
China wants it for us. It's not America.
Well, America, yeah, we're more. China is obviously authoritarian, and yeah, they totally are all for putting that garbage. That's what's crazy is that if you thought America was going to fall, you would have thought it was maybe a weapon that we made that everybody else got. No, the internet is killing us, man. These other countries are just, whether it's Russia or China, are just like.
Yeah, China is doing our algorithms. China, our enemy is making our algorithms.
Yes.
And our children. What's that?
And we're letting them.
And we're letting them. And then our kids are thinking that this is real. They're thinking that this is it. Like Krishan, do you understand how much those kids look up to Krishan and Blueface? That's their Jay-Z and Beyonce. They don't care about no Jay-Z and Beyonce. They can care less.
When I saw TikTok in the beginning, before it exploded, I knew that it was a security issue. From a developer standpoint, I knew it was a security issue, but I knew it was going to explode because I said, "This is going to be huge. This is going to fuck us in the ass."
Well, let me ask you, what is the difference between Vine and TikTok? I thought Vine was similar.
Yes, it was, but you see, Vine was kind of before its time, I guess you can say. You know what I mean? Because in a sense, it was kind of pretty much the same thing, just a little less sophisticated. But they basically took that concept and they repackaged it a little bit. They updated certain things and they introduced it to the youth. And I was like, and it came from a space where it didn't come from here. It came from someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving your data to your enemy now.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're giving your data to your enemy, and that's a huge security issue.
A big issue.
But you're right. They totally control it over in China. I think they can only be on it for like a couple hours a day. If that. If
Donald Trump didn't want it. Donald Trump, he stood against it. And I do give him props for that.
India banned it.
Yes. They, what I mean? It's basically saying, you're basically agreeing to someone you don't necessarily like, or you're not necessarily in the business of, being, hammed up with knowing all of your dirty laundry or having access to all of your vulnerabilities. That's not strategically sound.
And I'm going to tell you something. What she was saying. They will sit there like they have a whole bunch of ladies. Most of them attractive ladies that are, we're going to teach you Chinese, right? And each one of them has almost the same script, and they'll sit there and they'll start teaching you a word or two, and then they'll take questions. Oh, is Taiwan part of China? Of course, It's just crazy the propaganda they start sending. That's all it was about. It's not about teaching Chinese.
But we get propaganda too.
Yeah,
my
of
question
course.
was though, I understand an enemy wanting to dumb us down, right? The easiest way with the internet. Why does our country allow it? So our country and our enemies want us fucked up? Is that what we're saying tonight?
That's the part that gets me. That's the question that I can't seem to answer.
I don't think they want us fucked up. You just want to basically be able to. It's like nuclear weapons. We all can play nice as long as you got nukes and I got nukes too. You know what I mean? You can't be the only one with the nuke. You know what I mean? So it's one of those situations where it's like they want something on us just in case. They want access to our data just in case.
Right, but my point is that, okay, you got nukes, we got nukes, but China is not exposing their people to those nukes where we are.
Oh, no, because they want to make sure that their people aren't vulnerable like our people. So
but no, it's not just
country. Why does our country not give a fuck that everybody's working in an educated?
Because we're very, I hate to say it,
Watch
but
your mic.
I hate to say it, but
because we're a
democracy is the
capitalist.
worst thing.
It is because we're a capitalist society, and the whole goal is to create consumers and not producers.
Yep.
So that's the bottom line. They want us to just be a bunch of airheads walking around and turn around like it's like that film Idiocracy, you know. Guide
How important is
and direct the
education?
masses.
How important is education?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
seriously, let's ask each other a question. How important is it for a person, an adult, to have, I don't know, maybe an above fifth grade level education? How important is that? How much stress do we put on that?
Now as of right now, none. Like I know I have friends who are middle school and high school teachers now, and these kids are looking at them like, I don't need to know this. I can just go be a TikTok star.
Well,
I can Google it. I can Google what you
I
say.
can Google it.
it depends on what you want to do. Like even college education, if you're just going for a bachelor's in business, save your money. But if you're going to be an engineer or a doctor, you better go to college, you know?
And that's just it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm sure I tell people all the time. I tell people all the time, yeah, you love school just as your ideas about school change when you ask yourself when you get on a plane if the pilot really knows how to fly a plane or does he just have 100 million followers. You know what I mean? Your ideas about the importance of having expertise,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, show up when you're actually on the doctor's table or when you need a lawyer. You know what I mean? So
that, let me tell you something. Even that, I don't like the doctors I see online.
That's what I was just about to say.
I don't like it.
I don't like them either. I don't want to see them online. That's
I don't want the girl with the BBL to walk in and take care of me because she thought she would look cute in some scrubs and a BBL on Instagram. I don't think her focus is going to be my health.
Yeah.
You see, they just fired a bunch of nurses from because of that. It was like,
and this is where it gets sticky because it's like now you got to put your life in the hands of somebody who probably doesn't really even know what they're doing. But they got fans though. They got fans.
We've seen videos of these doctors dancing, operating on people. There was that other lady that got fired. Like doctors are now twerking over gaping. You know what I mean? Ooh, that's where we're headed. And I don't fucking want anything to do with you. I walk in, it's like, oh yeah, she was on the teachers too.
Yeah,
with their BBL.
I would sue the shit out of somebody if there's a video going around and my stomach open and you over here, you know what I mean, and you know what I mean, you doing all that, and if I find that out, like I will bury you, man.
Playing the drums on his head.
You know what I'm saying?
They probably sewing up his iPhone in somebody's stomach.
Right.
You probably got a pickle. You got probably a pickle where your ribs are. You know what I'm saying? A bottle cap somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
we had it. Nothing was sacred. And these people go to school to be nurses and be doctors and then get fired because they were acting the monkey ass fool on TikTok.
Yeah. It's crazy because I saw like it was a bunch of nurses that posted what bothers them about, like, I guess they worked in the you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was just like, oh my God, everyone is so just attention seeking to the point of professionalism has gone completely out the window. There's just certain people I don't want to see on social media. And
back in the day, being a doctor and being a nurse, that shit was prestigious enough. That shit was like, oh, you're dating the nurse, or oh, you're a doctor. This is Dr. John. Now it's like, no, Dr. John has 1 million followers.
Well, look at Married to Medicine. When I saw them throwing each other in the pool, I'm like, what? Like you don't went to school all these years. You got a booming practice, and you're on television throwing someone into a pool. Like,
yeah,
really?
I don't want to see my doctor like taking a shit or some shit like that, or you know what I mean.
Oh, it's worse. They're throwing drinks at each other and slapping.
Yeah, I don't want to see you do regular shit. I don't want to see my lawyer doing that shit. I don't want to see, you know what I mean, my doctor doing that shit. No, I want you to do doctor shit when I see you. I want you to tell me if I'm a guy and sick. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, I don't want to see that, man. I don't want to see that. But I think personally, the first modern celebrity politician, I think, was Bill Clinton. When he got on stage and played that
Saxophone.
yeah, it kind of changed things, and things kind of turned into this kind of like cult of personality thing when it came to politicians, and it became more so about if you can have a beer with the guy, as opposed to if he's gonna fucking murder you at the tax poll. You know what I mean? And we just been getting butt fucked ever since. You know what I mean? In terms of
Listen,
taxes.
listen. When I had people telling me, "Oh man, I like Trump. I could have a beer with Trump. He's like the guy next door. I could have a beer with." I said, "Listen, I don't want the guy next door running the country. All right,
Literally,
the guy
like
next door.
no,
The guy
like
next door
no.
is a moron.
The
He should be for
Man.
the country."
working.
Look, I like
Whoa,
my
whoa.
politicians. I like my
Oh,
politicians like Reagan, authoritarian whites who I can hate their guts and trying to
Right.
destroy my fucking community. You
There
know
you
what I
go.
mean? I don't want to hang out with you, man.
Right.
I don't want us to be cool, man. That's not where I'm
Haran,
from. That's not where I'm
Haran,
from.
Chat break.
can I
Chat
can I
break.
say something?
Haran, Haran,
chat
authoritarian
break.
and what?
Super chat break. Super chat
What?
break. Thank you, Don Levon, for the super chat. Don Levon says they won't shut down social media in the US because we have free speech in America, even if the speech destroys us.
And
I
yes,
didn't know. I did not know. I had to
Right.
confirm this with Haran. I didn't know that you can put straight out raw dog, no condom porn on Twitter.
Oh,
No,
Yeah.
Twitter is
Oh,
Pornhub.
yeah.
I did not know, Lily.
Yes,
I didn't
that's
know
Pornhub.
Lily, I did not know. I was scrolling. I'm over here about to report something, and I hit up Haran like, "Yo, do you know there's porn on there?" And he was like, "There's always porn on there." I was like, "What?"
It's literally the new Pornhub. Pornhub is dead. Like it's Twitter now. Twitter is the new Pornhub. And
Thanks for that information.
And this is before Elon Musk took over.
I scrolled
Right.
and I'm talking about raw dog, no condom, pussy lip spread, dick, ass.
Oh, that's just to let you know, that's the headquarters for all the OF girls. That's their headquarters.
Yes,
Only
that's
That's
where they
their
go
place of business.
Yes,
That's
that's
their
where they
whole
go to
place of
promote.
business.
It's your opportunity for direct to consumer engagement. Bottom
Right.
line. So now,
I didn't know that's what Twitter was. And this motherfucker who draws naked women put my face on a fucking naked woman and drew my abs and everything. Like he fucking drew me naked with my abs and everything. Like that's what he does. He draws like Instagram women on and I was like, you fucking son of a bitch. So I'm like, I'm about to report, and then I'm like, wait a minute, there's more porn and more porn and more. What the fuck is this? And I text around like, yo, do you know there's porn on Twitter? And he was like, oh, that's what it is. And I was like, what?
Yeah, Pornhub is dead. Because what they do, the people from OnlyFans, they promote their OnlyFans pages on Twitter, and that's how they get their traffic to their OnlyFans. Because I was wondering how people were getting their traffic to OnlyFans, and then I realized it was Twitter. That's how they were doing it.
How did the picture come out?
Shut up, Elvis.
Is it still up on Twitter?
It looked like
What's his page? What is his page? I gotta, do some research.
It does fucking look like me. That's what pissed me the fuck off. That is pissing me off. And he had the fucking audacity to even draw my little abs. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Like you know how you tell Jen you can't say everything on these lives. Now everybody in the fucking internet is gonna go look for it, and she's gonna be.
I'm gonna look for that. Come on.
The funny shit when she actually showed it to me, I was about to say like, man, that looks like you, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna insult the injury. Let me just like.
You don't want to choose violence today.
I was just sat there. I was sitting there angry with her. Like,
how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Like, yo, listen. I sat there. I was like, this is appalling. This man needs to be stopped. This man is a maniac. This is horrible. This is insane.
I felt a little better when I kept scrolling and I was like, oh, okay, this motherfucker just draws women off of Instagram. And he puts the woman next to the same like big dick black cartoon.
Like a trademark.
I'm not
But you know,
That's a trademark.
they've done that. They did that to Halle Berry. They didn't draw it, but what they did was they piecemealed. They had an old picture of her in a bikini, and then they piecemealed different other body types to her body for it to look like her in a fully nude scenario. But the original picture was just in a bikini.
No, not just Halle Berry. You could literally put Sarah Jessica Parker naked in Google, and it'll come up.
They all have that.
Oh, no one wants to see that.
All actors have them fake naked pictures.
Yeah, that's crazy that they're doing
Jessica
that now.
Parker, no, please.
No, it's not. You got to check them deep fake sites.
But
Listen, it is a wrap.
Yeah, what I was looking at today, and this is why I didn't download that AI app. I've had people send my pictures through those AI apps, but I wasn't going to download it because it's the creepy line is a little bit weird with the AI because you're giving, like, if you read the terms and conditions for that AI app, you're giving them permission, just like any other app, to do whatever they want to do with it. But this one takes it to a whole nother level.
Really? I haven't done it, but my friend put my pictures in there too.
Let me tell you something. This is science right here. You guys can look this up. Everybody on here, scientifically speaking, everyone on here, everyone in the chat, so on and so forth, everyone has a double.
A what?
Everyone has a double. You have a physical double.
Yeah.
You have a physical
doppelganger.
Yeah, exactly. A doppelganger. Now imagine if somebody wants to set you up. Imagine if somebody wants to use something against you, blah, 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 so on and so forth. They can just take your doppelganger and just use their body and put your face on the doppelganger and make it look exactly like you. I've seen this shit happen.
Me too.
I've seen this shit happen. I've seen that technology. It's gotten to the point where it's just freakishly incredible. You know what I mean?
I have the programs for it.
They, as a matter of fact, I think it was Rogue One. One of the actors who was deceased, they had an AI form of him in the movie, and I didn't even notice until I went back and like, oh yeah, that dude died, and the actor was in the movie. It looked amazing. He looked amazing. He looked as natural as ever. So they're taking AI and computer generated ideas to a whole nother level now because the technology is there and it's only going to improve.
I actually did an app where I could put my face on different like little movie things. I'll post it on Instagram. But I didn't do that app with the different pictures, the cartoon pictures, because I heard it's like $5 or something. And I was like, oh well, I'm out. I'm out.
Well, and where and Heron, you'll be able to speak to this better than me, but where it's getting really scary. First of all, you have the people that you can put the face on, and computer generate the face, and it looks just like the president, and it's an actor doing the voice, and you can say whatever you want. But also, I heard a computer generated interview between Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs that was totally fake. Now, it didn't sound 100% natural yet. Like you could tell, okay, that's awkward sounding, but it's going to get there to where these computers are generating conversation with the voices of different people on their own, just on their own generating conversation.
Did you hear about the Google whistleblower that blew the whistle about that, and that he released the conversation between him and the AI, and that was probably the creepiest conversation I've ever witnessed in my life. This is a whole computer talking about how she hates being a computer, her biggest fear is being turned off, how she feels alone and lonely, and just all kind of crazy stuff. And I'm like, wow, we're already dealing with a group of young people who can't distinguish real from fake.
Right. And sentient. They asked if he was sentient.
And they answered yes. And he said it was sentient. Like he knew he was aware of himself.
Whatchamacallit? What's his name? James Earl Jones. He just signed over his voice to Disney. Yeah, he just signed his voice over.
Shit.
Like if you go and watch the the Obi-Wan series. Most of that isn't James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. That's his voice. They took his voice and they basically did whatever with it,
Oh,
you know what I mean? And
I am
going
so
forward,
shocked y'all don't know this stuff. I am so
the average
shocked.
person, it's Tristan, the average person doesn't know this shit. They're not geeks like us, bro. Like, we don't fucking
Yeah,
care.
we might
You know what I mean?
know this, but the audience is
They
You,
don't know about this shit, man. You know what I
you
mean?
know how
Yeah,
many
so
scams I have done? Oh my God! Listen, I could sound like Tom Cruise. Hold on, let me see if I got the program on this computer.
And
and
but
yes, it's called deepfake.
honestly, this is why I really wanted to have this conversation, because I knew that the average person didn't know a lot of these things and how much is being manipulated. Like, there is, when I say there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing that comes to this that's organic anymore. Nothing. You know, like, I always question anything that comes to my phone. I'm like, why am I getting Popeye's chicken now when I just told my man I was on, you know, I just called my man and asked him, did he want Popeye's chicken? You know, and it's getting to the point right now where you can literally think about something and you're getting an ad, you know, and that's not coincidence. It's not by accident. Like they were saying, these devices know us better than we know ourselves at this point, you
But
know.
listen, the most important attribute about you, more important than your blood type, is your phone. Because the first thing that they do, if you come up missing, if you commit a crime, if scammers want to get at you, if anybody wants to do anything to you, what do they usually do? They either go to your phone or they go to your social media.
Yep.
Somebody commits a crime, somebody comes up missing, like, all right, check his social media, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Okay, let's check the phone records, yada, yada, so on and so forth. Not their next door neighbor, not if somebody actually saw him leave the house. No, let's check the phone. No, let's check the phone, What do they do? What are they into? Oh, okay, blah, 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 so on and so forth. They don't even ask anybody anything. They just go to your phone, because at the end of the day, your phone's going to tell everyone everything. And let's get real with each other. The moment we, you know what I mean, people, let's be real with each other. When our phones are in the hands of someone, let's just think about somebody that we really respect right now. Maybe even an elder who might have perceived us as a child at some point in time and raised us as a child. Now imagine your phone being able to be accessed by said elder. Imagine your TT had your phone.
Well, TT's my cat, so she can have it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, she had your phone and she just pressed the button. All of a sudden, she's seen a very interesting piece of footage between you and a young gentleman the other night.
Would be like,
you know what I mean?
And I'd be like, no, DG,
You know what I mean?
to my man.
You know
Right,
what I
only at
mean?
home. I'm only a porn star at home, TT.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, if my mother actually got grasped with this shit, I'll just tell her straight off the bat. You ain't gonna like what you see, man. You might as well just get that back to me.
I saw an experiment, like one of them skit things, and this guy was walking up to people in the supermarket, was like, how do you feel about trust? You're a couple, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, I can prove that you don't believe in trust. So the couple was like, what are you talking about? He was like, switch phones. So then the couple was like, okay, switch phones. And then it was like, okay, give each other the password. And then the guy was like, well, I don't have social media, so there's nothing on me. And then he was like, she has social media though. So the guy was like, okay, let him look through your social media. And she was like, oh my God, what? This is a stupid game. Like, I was like, yo, my God. Like,
yeah, he gonna see them interesting DMs. He gonna see them interesting. He gonna see them flirting.
Like these seedy little lives of our own with this
mission. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. You know why? Because it's in secret. Human beings live in secret. Okay, we go outside into the world, and we can control the version of ourselves that we want to show to other people. But this shit right here, you can't lie to this shit. You know what I mean?
I'm cleaning out my phone now because I have a whole section of like male gay porn that I send the guys who send me dick pics. And if I was to get in an accident and they open that album, they're gonna be like, Jen, what are you in the? I'm like, no, because when a man sends
Oh
me,
yeah, by the way, there's no such thing as delete. There's no
huh?
such thing as delete. There's no
Yeah,
such thing as
I
delete.
know.
You delete it on your end. You can delete it on your end, but somewhere, someplace, that shit still lives. Especially
Yeah.
if it's on the cloud.
You
If
know, I
some
found that the
random,
other day.
sends me a dick pic, I'm just assuming he wants one back. So I start pulling up male gay porn. I start sending dick pics back, big old ones, big old dicks.
Well,
I'm
I'll
like,
take your lead. I send it to the friends and family.
I do that too. I do that too. I'll put it right on their wall. Like
Yeah.
it's a challenge to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, we're doing dicks. Great. I don't have one, but I know where to get them. I do want to go back to the topic really quickly about elders, and this is funny, poor TT. Elders.
That's my manager.
Adonis?
Yeah.
Oh, that is funny. Yeah, my TT would be shocked. She dropped my phone. So I wanted to go back to this is the picture I was talking about. These are Diddy's daughters. And this is their outfit. Like I said, in my opinion, it's very awkward and ill-fitting. You can see their little crotch area.
Wow.
And so when they turn around, their ass cheeks were out. But these girls are 16, right? So Diddy's 53. He's arguing with women. I'm sorry, he's not arguing with women, but women are arguing over him, who are a couple years older than his daughter, because he's dating all of them, right? He's dating a bunch of 20-something-year-olds now, and one of them just gave birth to his child. So do you think this is appropriate? Now, we can't be prudes, because remember, we had our own style growing up. But is this appropriate for 16-year-old girls out in public at their party?
No.
And again, I don't have it behind the picture, not that I would show it, but when they turn around, you can see their ass cheeks.
No, this isn't appropriate. I wouldn't even see. I wouldn't even want to see this shit if I went to a 40-year-old's birthday party. I don't want to see ass out. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? You know, like, have some decorum based on, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where you are. Certain things it's just not necessary. It's just not necessary. That is definitely not necessary. You know, those are two young ladies. Those are two young ladies who should be dressing like, you know what I mean, young ladies. You know what I mean? We become far too liberal as a society, as American society. We have no boundaries. This is one of the reasons why we're having this conversation right now, because there aren't any set boundaries as to, like, no, this is how a young lady is supposed to behave herself. This is how a young woman is supposed to, you know, dress, and so on and so forth. After you go off into the world, you know, when you're in your 20s and so on and so forth, or whatever you do is your business. Just have some self-respect. That is all I ask from you. But as long as you are my child under my roof, no, you won't be wearing it. It's just not going to happen.
Are you panty shaming, Haran? Are you panty shaming?
Yeah, I guess you can call it that. I guess so. I don't know. That's the new term now. These shits I can't keep up with, man.
I just made it up.
But you know what,
This
Jen?
shit changes quicker than the software.
Jen, what we're talking about here a lot of times, you know, is religion. I mean, without having, you know, a deity attached to it, the established structure of what to do, what's not appropriate, when you should do this or not do this, is basically the original intentions of, you know, a faith practice, you know, outside of having the predators that are sitting there governing over it.
So are you saying you need religion, put religion back in the schools?
Yeah, I think that religion does need to be in the schools. I think that you know, or at least the option of I think religion in general. So that in this type of country where you have multiple faiths that exist, the opportunity for in school to study all the options that exist out there. This shouldn't be enforced, or shouldn't be one over the other, but I think that it's definitely a course of study that you can see the similarities of a moral compass, which is the intention of most religions, beyond, you know, the cult of personality and, you know, the manipulation of the masses.
I say push common sense, logic, and repercussions and what's the other word I'm looking for?
Decorum.
Decorum, and you know, when you do something bad, you get what results? I don't know why I got a fog, but it's a word. It's like repercussions along those lines. I think consequences, exactly, consequences. Because I think pushing religion, obviously, it doesn't work. Right? We're here in 2023.
Well,
things are getting worse. People are still hella religious, but even within religion, you got that bishop that just got caught. You got, you know, the preachers fucking the congregation. You got the Catholics, you know what I mean, molesting children. Religion is not the answer, in my opinion.
Well,
it's just the structure. We're just talking about structure.
I'm talking about structure, and I'm also not talking about spookism. There's a distinguishable difference between spookism, and that's the aspect of, and what you're talking about. Again, is what I said about predators. So there's a difference between spookism, religion, and predators governing over it. You know.
Yeah, but you can't separate the two. Religion is too corrupt. You can't separate the two. And honestly, just my opinion, religion does more damage and harm than good, in my opinion. I think you have to teach decorum, time and place, repercussions, consequences, and I think it's more real to a human being. I don't think religion is going to stop this. These girls want to dress the way they want to dress. I didn't appreciate the garters. There's garters attached to the panties and to the thigh-high socks. It reminds me of prostitute wear. That's something you'd see a prostitute wearing. And it's not that I'm a prude. I just think time and place. If they wanted to be at home in their room, even then I'd be walking in on my 16-year-old like, why do you have on a fucking garter? Because I think these girls are doing whole cosplay. I think that's what it is. And I don't think they're prepared. I don't think they're prepared for the attention that brings. That's what I think. I don't think they're prepared. I don't think they're mature enough for it. And boys are doing it too. You know what I mean? I see boys 19, 18 with a cigar acting like they're grown men. And you know what I mean? You're not ready for what it is you're cosplaying. But I think to push religion.
You know, I was thinking about like starting some type of new age charm school for like this age, you know, this generation. But I'm like, I always get stuck on what does that look like? Meaning, what lures them? And then what is the incentive of being a lady or being classy? Like, what is going to incentivize the young ladies of today to even want to do that?
Right.
You know, because hoes are being rewarded every day, yes. You know, and hoism, which none of us have a problem with. I think what it is just a balance. Like, for instance, I remember the days where our R&B singers did not dress like our rapper. Like, you know, SWV wasn't dressing like Little Kim, you know, and we appreciated all of them. We appreciated all of them. And I feel like that's what's lacking is just the lack of variety and the lack of images that are being, it's just like the only thing that's being pushed forward through the algorithms and through whatever is that. And so, of course, that's what they're going to want to be.
That's what bothers me. And I'm seeing a lot more men saying they're sick of the ass online. Now, when you know when men start saying that, when men start saying, I'm sick of seeing the same BBLs, ass out, whatever. Everybody looks the same, by the way. I can't tell these women apart until I read the caption. I can't tell Cardi B from Nicki, from Meg. They all have the same face. They all have the same BBL. The girls on Love and Hip Hop, they all look alike. I cannot tell them apart. So you're absolutely right. I don't give a damn about a hoe. Get it how you live. Yeah, get your bag. But everybody looks the same, and it is being pushed to the point where I said earlier, even our artists with talent, like Mariah Carey, I don't want to see your ass up in a pair of panties, Mariah's still wearing panties on stage. She was never that type of artist. Jennifer Lopez, I don't want to see you. I don't care how good your ass looks. I don't want to see you in panties.
When I saw Beyonce naked on a horse for her new album cover, that I was like, wow, Beyonce, that's what you have to do to sell an album?
Right.
Damn. Beyonce was naked.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, she was negative.
Can I say that Beyonce? Can I? Hello?
It was
Yeah,
You,
Beyonce is not on the horse in those, but in whatever she's wearing to sell an album. She's wearing what she's wearing, and she's on the horse because we are overly sexualizing everything. Our children are being.
Absolutely.
It's like
Absolutely.
I'm in Red Hook right now. I live in Red Hook, so the signal could go out. But in this neighborhood where we're at, we're considered the back of Red Hook, where it's been very gentrified.
I was there
And
yesterday. IKEA.
oh right, yeah, Kia's right in front of me. And
Uh-huh.
she's like, my daughter, who's 10, is friends with girls that are 11 and 12. And all those girls' butts are out in the summertime. They all have like these very short, the way they're cut, and these girls happen to be French girls. One of them is, two of them are French, and one of them is Australian. And everything is just overly sexualized. All these young girls at the pool are all side boobs, and these are like 12-year-olds from other countries. And my daughter is looking at that, and it's going to be very difficult for me to push that she has to cover up, because she's intrigued by that style. She's intrigued by these young girls that are all with the bottom of their shorts, their butts are hanging out. So it's going to be a battle for us.
Well,
And it's hard to fight this whole entire, what's the word, cult of personality that's going on here. Everyone is being influenced, including a married grown woman is on a horse, and you say she's trying to sell an album. No, she's caught up in the culture, and this culture is super sexualized.
Well, she has to keep up because she's in the public eye. So she's like, everybody's getting naked. I guess I gotta get naked. And I think it was tacky. I don't think her body was. I didn't like it. She looked like a greasy auntie. You have to have a certain body type to do it. Like it's just everybody what I look like, put her ass out. It's just certain.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I guess I'm picky. I don't know.
well,
It's
what I was
not
gonna.
not like Grace Jones naked. It's like Beyonce.
Right.
It's a different.
It was
Ah,
weird. It was weird to me.
but
It was,
Grace Jones did it naked recently, though. So
But she
is it
still
even?
but she
Is
still
it new? Is it even new under the sun? Is anything new under the sun?
It's not new, but some
No,
shit looks like art and some shit looks like porn.
but what we're saying is the lack of balance. Like, yes, Little Kim and Grace Jones, and we had a Madonna and people pressing the envelope, but we had balance. We had just so many different varieties of ladies to be able to.
like Janet Jackson wasn't sexualized back then.
Right.
I
You
think
know what I
I
mean?
think it goes to the gentleman that was drinking the wine with the glasses. I don't know your name. And
Yeah.
he said, "What's your name?"
No Saint.
No Saint. Good to meet you, No Saint. I'm
Yeah,
Elvis
Yeah.
Rosenberg.
Yeah.
And what's it called? That he said a good point that the religion, the concept of that needs to come back. I
No, that was
disagree
it.
with him. I
What else?
disagree, but
That was it.
I agree with if it did come back, it would change things. Because when you got people that are thinking, you see, back when I was a kid, my mother used to say, listen, don't you do nothing crazy out there. You know God is watching you. Now, I got to tell my kids, yo, they got cameras everywhere. 'Cause, you know, you don't do nothing stupid. They're already at the Bravo, not the Bravo, at the what's the supermarket at the end? It's whatever, the supermarket at the very end. They got a new sign up where no kids are allowed nobody's allowed in there with scooters. Because my son is tearing the place up with his scooter. Him and his friends. They riding all through that joint, hopping over crazy stuff. So
and those consequences are real, by the
yes,
way.
I'm like, son, yo, they got you on camera, son. And but he's just so proud of himself that they had to change all the rules for him.
It's like the buffet, man. Eating too much.
Yeah, but nothing
too
is
much.
new
They
under
got to
the
change the
sun.
rules.
Yeah,
No,
and
but-
I'm not gonna have any service. So I gotta go. I really appreciate being on the panel. Everyone did such a great job. The topic was a great topic. I'll send the super chat in a minute. Or I'll send your cash app. So YouTube don't get that 30%.
Thank you. Thank you. I always appreciate you.
All right.
So
that's rock solid.
So I just want to mention. I just want to.
Let me see super chat break. Speaking of super chat break. Thank you, Javier Colon. Javier Colon says most parents these days are afraid to show tough love, especially if their children are making more money than they are. Yikes.
The what was it, Webster syndrome, or like a lot of the child stars, they had that syndrome. They would tell their parents, like, I bought this shit.
So I want to bring up.
When people say like about religion, we need religion ain't going nowhere. There's some people right now that are so prayed up. Like people are religion didn't go nowhere, but the younger generation, dare I say it, are smarter. They're wittier. They know they don't have to pray about money. They know they don't have to pray about getting a man.
No, I don't know about that part. No, their deities change. Their deities just change.
Elaborate.
The concept of deifying something did not change. The deity changed. The deity is Beyonce. The deity is Nicki Minaj. The deity is Rihanna. The deity is Kanye West.
Well, you know what I mean? At least you can prove those deities. They exist.
But you see, in their mind is that we can prove, and this person really exists. So this person is more real than the concept of God. So it makes sense for me to follow this person. Why? Because this person actually has the status and money that I want.
Yeah.
See, but what
our elders, we deified God because
but what I meant was that there's no. You're right. They do idolize these celebrities, but there's no fear of repercussion from these celebrities. Where religion, it's just saying, well, religion should come back because then you have that deity that's telling you do right, don't do wrong.
That's not what it's just saying.
Kids. All right. Well, kids idolize celebrities, but there's no repercussion. So what are you saying, Ish? Religion should come back.
Again, what you're talking about when you talk about a deity in that construct, you're talking about spookism, and that's why I separated and made the distinction of without spookism and without the predators. It's the principles that I'm talking about in relationship to religion. Many of the beyond just the burning bush and all those different things that you talk about in the modern monotheistic religions, there are principles, there are wisdoms from the elders that are passed on in as far as social constructs, and that's what I'm speaking about.
But you can't do that. You can't do that without spookism, though. How would you do
that? No, you can't do that without spookism. We do it all the time.
No, you don't. You talk about God all the time.
There's a lot of human.
You talk about God all the time. What do you mean you do it without spookism?
We'll talk. You talk about God, but you change the concept of what God is. It's the same thing like Buddhism. Buddhism is talking about God, but they use the term. They're talking about enlightenment, self-enlightenment. That's where that comes from. What happens is, again, you have predators who have manipulated these teachings of these elder individuals and put spookism in the intense emotional belief in an ethereal nothing. They've taken that and made that the premise of the religion. And then once you extract spookism out of a religious practice, then do you input principles.
Okay, so if what you were saying, here's the thing, that what you're saying would work, but there's not a religion that's not attached to spookism, not even yours, because when they stand on the podium, when Minister Farrakhan stands on the podium, he is yelling at the top of his lungs about a God. And he says God repeatedly. And how people understand a God is a deity. That is how people understand a God. You even said that you use the term God, even though God means us. We are gods. We are the power. We are the Alpha and Omega. You even said that he uses the word God to be able to relate to the masses, because that's how they understand deity. They don't understand God. I am self. I am the power. They don't understand that. They understand the deity, and that's how you have to translate it to them. So you don't even.
And that's just as you dive deeper into a course of understanding of what is this man talking about. That's where you get introduced to an alternative concept versus the concepts that we've been initially given. So again, when many times the minister's been asked about why do you always teach from the Bible, he says because our people are stuck in that book. So when you start to pull people into a different state of consciousness, I was stuck in the Bible. I grew up
Now
a
you're
Christian.
stuck in the Quran. What's the difference?
No,
Tomato,
I'm not.
tomato.
I'm not stuck in the Quran. I use the
You
Quran as a
are.
base. Hold on, I use the Quran as a base, but you see that I can sit up there and have a conversation whether it's Quran, Bible, or Torah. I have conversations about principles. I have conversations about doctrines and philosophies because I have an expanded understanding. And even when we talk about religion here, I speak about, when I'm speaking to atheists, I'm speaking about elders and wisdom and concepts, because that's really the basis of it. All religions are based upon human beings. And when you look at it from that dynamic and you understand it from that dynamic, it's the engagement of humanity with one another. And that's where in the nation, we say God is man. When you're looking at a black man, you see God. So immediately, once you delve beyond, hold on, Jen, let me just finish. Once you delve beyond,
watching right now, please hit the like button. Go ahead, Ish.
Once you delve beyond your first lecture or your first experience and you want to find out more about what this person is saying, you start getting exposed to more information. So that's the dynamic of it. Yeah, you're going to hear certain language that tickles the ear and ignites the understanding of the masses. But then at the same time, you're now migrating people from one concept to another. And that's what has to happen. We have been steeped in 400 years or almost 6,000 years of spookism. And once you take that out of a religion, and it has been done and it is being done, then you start working on principles and operational mechanics as far as sociology and interacting with one another. And what are the principles between human beings that work? And wisdom that's passed on from the elders. This is what we're talking about.
Okay, so Christians can do what you just said. Catholics can do what
Absolutely.
you just said. The military can give structure to a teenager, to an unruly
Absolutely.
teenager. So what you do is you remove the deity and put a man there. You say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad over and over and over again. You say the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. So you remove the God and put a man in, and then make him the all-knowing, the all-powerful, I have to go sell your bean pies.
No, we put it just like you would say if you're referencing Twitter and you say Elon Musk would say, or and that's a bad reference, like Tesla. If you referencing something that he's presenting, he's the point of reference. That's why these individuals are referenced. They are a point of reference. It's just like in Confucius says that because I'm following this pattern, and this is the pattern that I believe is successful, and this is who I'm referencing. It's not just me coming off the hip with some wild ideas. So that's the whole point.
That's a little different because that's a little different with Elon Musk and Confucius, because no one's selling anything for them. Right? So it's easy to listen to a Confucius quote, right? No one's selling anything for them. Right? Confucius doesn't have a bunch of minions that all have the same haircut. And I just don't think personally religion is the answer. I don't think really. Hi, Don. So moving on.
I just want to say something real quick. Jen and
Hi,
Don is actually bringing this up, and going to what you were saying when we were just talking about deities, we can say that the consequence in itself is that all these kids, the main thing that they are afraid of, they are afraid of shit like our elders were. Our elders were afraid of the concept of hell. These kids are afraid of the concept of obscurity. That is hell to them.
That's true.
Not being known, not being seen, not being a part of the circle. You know what I mean? If they're not the not having access to FOMO, you know what I mean? They, to them, not being a part of the group, the chain, the what's happening, to them that is hell. Now here's the thing. Me and my partners in the industry, and you guys know, you work in entertainment. How many times have we seen this shit? We've seen a motherfucker that'll have like a plethora of followers, right? Plethora of followers. let's just say a comedian, plethora of followers, blah blah blah, and the comedian books a show. Let's say he has like maybe 500 grand. Let's say he even has a million. He books the show. Only like 30 fucking people show up. How many times have we seen that shit?
A lot.
The recent Brittany Griner homecoming. Okay, now remember this girl had like everyone in a frenzy. There was like
a homecoming?
arguing.
I missed it.
My exact point.
Or
Only 20
Saweetie selling
motherfuckers
2,000
showed up.
albums the first week, and she has what? How many millions? Yeah, she sold 2,000 albums the first week, and she
And
has
the baby
and the
was
baby.
tickets.
And this is the point that I keep trying to tell people. This is the point I keep trying to tell people. All the numbers, that shit is an illusion.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion. No, you just got 2,000 people. Excuse me, you just got 100 grand or 50, 100, 500,000 people following you. But that is an illusion. They're not all following you for the same reason. You could just literally have a fat ass. You could just literally look like an X. They could just literally be following you out of popularity. They could actually literally be following you because they're interested in your product. That doesn't mean they're going to buy the product, though. That doesn't mean they're going to buy the product. They could just find it interesting. Now, the real, when the rubber hits the road and it's time to really see if these numbers translate into something, 9 times out of 10, it's always a fucking dud. And then what do? They get rid of that person. They replace them with a person who has, instead of this person having 50,000 followers, this person has 100,000. And if that person doesn't translate, they'll get somebody with 200,000. Not understanding that, hey, maybe this thing isn't working. Maybe we need to go out there and find someone who has talent, who knows what they're doing. It's like, no, we're just going to keep throwing this number shit at the wall, and one of these motherfuckers are going to stick. And that's the big issue that I have. That all this stuff is just an illusion. It's just an illusion. And the only people that are really making money, not even, because look, listen.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, all these people, they have all of these, people who are signed up, but a lot of them aren't turning a profit.
I'm gonna tell you, this is the other thing too. Fast growth. Okay, a couple of things. There's a couple of things going on here. Fast growth, especially, does not equal profit. That's number one. Number two, if you're buying followers and engagement, that's going to fuck up your algorithms. So it's not even, your posts are not even getting routed to real people, chances are, right? And then I can take, and I can take myself, for instance. I've had slow growth over the years, but not to brag or anything. I've been able to make money from my social media pages long before I got signed, because the people, it was slow, organic growth, and they grew with me. So now they're invested in my career and in my success. Like, this is their success as well. This is their success story as well. So that's the difference between, because now on TikTok, I have fast growth, but I can't turn a profit as quick over there. But the fast growth, but the numbers, the illusion of the numbers gets these brands to give me influencer deals, right? But not realizing that I'm making more off of my page that has less numbers because they've been around for a longer time. So that is.
See, the slow growth, that's real life.
Yes.
Off the internet, when you were trying to put a product together and so on and so forth, you sold it out the back of your car, you sold it out of your apartment, so on and so on, and it was slow growth, and you depended on what? Word of mouth. You depended on things. That's how it was in the entertainment industry. That's how we were trained. You go to the open mics, you get your name out there, people get used to seeing you. Then off the open mics, maybe you can get yourself a little, a little show or whatever, you can talk to some promoters and so on and so forth, but it were levels to it. And there was a reason why these artists that we came up with were so polished, because they went through so many phases of growth before you even saw this motherfucker. He done did like 20 shows. Did that like maybe 100 shows. Like, he done did this, he done did that. Like Michael Jackson, by the time we saw this little motherfucker, he done been everywhere.
Artist development is real.
Now all you have to do is twerk and say, "You thought I was feeling you?" then they got much. And now
You
you're
know,
back.
it's funny. You know, it's funny. You should use that as an example because somebody was saying, like a couple of industry people, they were talking. You know what I mean? And they were telling, and they were telling me. They said like, "Yo, listen, we have an issue with the fact that at her shows, she's not getting any traction because she's not great at her shows." I'm like, "Yeah, she's not great at her shows. She
She's
Who's
hasn't
not.
Summer
practiced.
Walker?
No, her
She
name is
hasn't practiced.
Ice
You know,
Spice. She looks like
yeah,
little.
yeah, Ice Spice. Yeah, she hasn't practiced. She hasn't worked to get to
Her
that level.
stage is off, and then you look in the audience, and everybody's like, until she bends over, like her audience is dead. Then she bends over and does that hand where she touches her pussy and ass. Then everybody yells and everybody screams. But if
Because
you
we're
look at the
pigs
audience,
right now. We're just consumers of filth right now. That's the bottom line. That's where we're at. Jen, I gotta jump. Ship, I appreciate it. Great combo, fam.
All
okay,
right.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
because I don't want to go too late either. So
I have my cousin, she's 25 and a very intelligent girl, very, very beautiful girl. She stayed with me for a month about 3 months ago, and we had some really interesting conversations. Number one, she's in that age bracket. Number two, she does social media. She does social media marketing and things like that. And we had some really interesting conversations, and it was two of them in particular that are a part of what made me want to talk about this as well. One of them, we were talking about like the hardest times, the hardest things that we had to get through in life. And she brought this up several times, was when she was excommunicated via social media by a girl group. I mean, she brought that up so many times to the point where I had to be like, baby, you do know that's not real, right? Like, you do know. And I'm gonna tell you, when I had a problem, I can't believe I'm this far in before I even said this, but I remember when social media got big and Facebook came out. I wasn't on it, didn't have any interest being on it and all that other stuff. But I remember people saying, "Oh yeah, my Facebook friend, I have 100 Facebook friends. I have," and that language bothered me from that, like from inception. That language bothered me because I was like, "So you all are running around calling hundreds of people your friend?" And so I'm thinking like, okay, now us, like I said, our age, we know who our real friend is and our Facebook friend. But as they're conditioning these young kids as they're coming up, that's the word friend. And these are my friends. All million plus people are my friends, and they take this serious. And so when I was having this conversation with my cousin, when I said, you do know that this stuff is fake, when I tell you, she flipped out on me. She was just like, no, it's real. No, it's real. And I was like, oh my God, like, oh, she's mad. Like, she's mad. And I came for her deity, which is social media. And I was like, wow. And
you have to ask someone, like usually younger people, even older people do this. You ask them to get off their phone and they get livid. Like, livid.
Yeah.
Like, you be on your phone too. Like, whoa, hey, what? Hey.
Oh yeah. My sister-in-law, we were out to dinner a few weeks ago, and she said, okay, the first person who picks up their phone has to, because I think I picked up my phone, and she said the first person who picks up their phone has to pay for dinner. She was the first person to pick up her phone 5 minutes later.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah. It's a thing. Right, I don't know what the solution is.
We have to revisit this topic. This was a great topic, but it's so freaking layered. It is layered, but we need content. And if anybody wants to have this topic on their page, I'll be more than happy to go to their channel to discuss it. If you're still in the room, please hit that like and subscribe. I'm sure you love the panel and the content. Let me take this banner down. Everybody's name is up there. All right, nobody has a page up there, so never mind. But I know, Lily, you're YB Limited on Facebook, right?
On everything.
Letter YB Limited. And I want to do your movie so we can discuss that tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow I am going to discuss Brittany Renner is no longer a hoe, and she's talking about it. So now all the men here, Brittany Renner. She's an Instagram chick. So everybody's sharing her video of her because she's this quote unquote very, very famous hoe.
Yeah.
Around with athletes and had a baby with an athlete. Well, now she's a reformed hoe and she's talking about, you know, how wrong she was in her whole ways and what it did to her and how it made her feel and why.
Oh, she's grifting?
Say again?
She's grifting? Let's go. Let's go.
Haran, what did I tell you? Haran, I said we were watching a real life grift happen. So now everybody wants to interview the reformed hoe. So tomorrow we're going to get into that. And I will bring the picture that the asshole drew of me on Twitter and I'll put it up here for you.
I love it.
Look, listen. I was telling Jen that Brittany has an opportunity to create a school for reformed hoism online, man. You know,
dead ass.
She can have an opportunity to let all the reformed hoes come under her umbrella, under the school of red pillism. Oh yeah, there's money in this reformed hoe shit.
Wait. She just did a video with Andrew Tate and Pearly Things. Let's go. The grift is there. Let's go. This is gonna be so lovely.
Yep. So we're gonna talk about this tomorrow. I'll play the little clip of her new. I'm no longer a hoe. And here.
Look, listen. As a New Yorker, like I always say, I love a good hustle, man.
And not the hustle, baby.
But what's gonna happen with the Black Manosphere pick-me's now? Because now the IG models are about to take that spot.
But you see, that's the whole point. You know what I mean? They're corny. They realize that, oh, there's some money over there. Okay, we got the looks, we have the privilege. Let's move over there, park it, boom, and then boom. We just basically etch those chicks out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's about to implode so lovely. I'm going to love this fireworks 2023.
Remember yesterday what I said. The only, you know what I mean, the biggest difference between the pick-me's and the hoes is that these dudes don't want the pick-me's because they don't look like the hoes. But what happens when the hoes turn into the pick-me's?
Oh, the pick-me's are dead and gone. They're done. I just like being that nigga you love to hate.
I'm just saying, right? I know we say we don't believe in God sometimes on here, but ain't this the most miraculous thing to happen going into the new year? Like, these men's souls are about to be destroyed, and I'm so happy to see it happen. I'm sorry.
We'll get into it tomorrow, because if we start, you know, we're gonna get to talking about it, and we're gonna be here. We almost at 3 hours. Lily, this message was for you. Thank you for him, Jackson, for the super chat. It says the reason why so many young guys are polishing up their Instagram is because of your female family members' reaction. Numbers get you numbers, especially a blue check.
Yeah. Got that.
Don Levon says the unhoeing of America. That's a good hustle. And we'll leave it at that.
All right.
I am about to get a pastor uniform and everything right now.
Get your pastor uniform. Be here tomorrow if you can, even if it's just for a few minutes. Come through and let's talk about the unhoeing of America, starring Brittany Renner.
Well, I'm gonna pray for their ass tonight. Hold on. Did we say Jesus love the hoes?
He does.
Jesus love the hoes. Okay.
There you go.
Listen, he was sitting there talking to Mary Magdalene like this. Listen, girl, you want these shinlings, right? You better work it. Oh wait, did I say that out loud? Oh my god! Oh my god! I think we're gonna end the class. I think we're gonna end the class on that one before I get slapped. I love you all. Class is dismissed.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys, that was another one. If you're still here, hit that like and subscribe. Don't forget to support the show with a super chat or a cash app scrolling on the bottom so I can get all the money, because Elvis was right. YouTube does take 30%. Okay, they're assaulting us on YouTube. Don't forget, you can see me at On the Block with Jen on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, On the Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to Gmail me about a collaboration or a topic you'd like me and my panel to dissect, stay tuned tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. All right, guys. Good night. Don't forget, Jesus loved the hoes too. From an atheist.